see. Map number 1 is live.
I think I'm gonna make it quieter because I can't even hear me thinking.
Getting that rocket launcher and LG quickly booking it to the
Wait.
Mega, as well as deploying the Timmy. And as you said,
Yeah, I'm just gonna make it quiet.
Consistent players in finals, but it's always second place, and I can't help but think he has lower bracket issues early, and he's just got to put in so much more work.
Thank you for reminding me of me finishing second a lot. Feels great.
Maybe this season is the one who can crown himself a champion, but still we have a long way to go.
Yeah, I was like already here at the beginning. Oh shit, I went back too far. Yeah, so already here in the beginning, I was a little bit careless, ran right into him, received a shit ton of damage for no reason. I was actually kind of lucky to get away there, because I could have gotten stuck and would have died to his next rocket, probably, most likely. But yeah, somehow I got out of there, but I lost control. So from here on out, for quite a while, I think, I was out of control. Funny thing is, here actually, my rocket, my defensive rocket, as I was trying to run for my life, actually bounced him up here. So when I went up here to steal the Mega, I just didn't expect him to be there at nailgun so fast. I thought I for sure have enough time to get the Mega before he has visibility on me. But nope, my rocket actually is working against me and bounced him up to the perfect location for him to have line of sight on me before I even get the Mega. So that's great.
Really does, and hold on, we might see our first one.
Great rocket.
What a pop-up rocket there.
All right.
It's not gonna matter because first blood still comes out.
I think, I'm not sure, but I think I delayed the spawn here. Did I? Actually, let me have a looky.
What a pop-up rocket.
Let's watch me die again. He drops down here, and if I spawn in right away, he would have had the chance to rail me on at spawn, but I think I might have delayed it by a little bit, and so by then he wasn't holding the angle anymore, and I did not get hit after. No, actually I did not delay the spawn because I'm already alive now. I guess I was just lucky I didn't spawn where he was trying to get a rail on me. But I don't see him. Oh, I'm down here at rail somehow. I guess I spawned him before he dropped down here, so I was more likely to spawn down at rail instead of here by heavy. Yeah, I guess that was just a lucky timing on my part, because I was again careless to spawn in so fast. To be fair, I didn't even fully know where I was got killed from. Whatever. Yeah, so I could have spawned here if I was a little bit slower on respawn, I think. Because if I was slower, he would have already dropped down here by the time I spawn in. And if he is here when I spawn, I have a big chance of spawning by heavy, and then he has a rail angle on me, which is obviously not something I want for myself. So, but here I spawned on rail, so all is good. Apart from him having a lead, one frag lead, and full control.
That first frag, nicely done with a beautiful rail.
Yeah, absolutely picking him out of the sky, and very interested to see exactly how much he utilizes that rail. As we said before, dramiS is no stranger to using the rail at any distance, at any situation, and that's why I love his play, because it's all or nothing.
Yeah, and everything he's doing right now is positioning for that rail, which I think you would kind of expect here on Vale.
Right, so again, I'm gonna pause a lot because, like I said, we are reviewing the VOD, so I'm gonna point things out, talk things over, watch things back. So I'm gonna be pausing a lot. I'm sorry if it annoys you, but you know, this is how I'll do this. Anyway, yeah, so another thing here, once again, I was careless throughout this match for like the third time or so, and I just ran through here like, you know, I didn't give a shit. I don't know why, I just did it. Basically letting him rail me for free. Why do I have the confidence to push that? Fuck knows. I have no idea. I think I was just having fun running around as Anarchy. I don't know. Like I said, I just carelessly run through here, got railed. Had my injection ready though, so even though he railed me for 90, I could heal 50 back, so basically I was just minus 40 after him railing me. But I was still, you know, obviously not as stacked as he was. But the next thing I did, yeah, there will be QPL this Saturday, yes. My match is going to be against Zenaku, and it's gonna be the last match for the day. Yeah, so anyway, I got railed here, kind of woke me up, I guess, because after that what I did was actually quite good. Let me explain. I go through the telly, pick up the small armor, so now I have actually a decent stack, and I take an LG fight, which will be like 50-50, as in we will both suffer a lot of incoming damage, but then I fall back behind cover, and the Mega is not gonna be available for quite a while, which means he's gonna be out in the open. There's no cover here where he's standing at Mega. Meanwhile, I have the high ground, because this slope is a little bit, you know, this part here, the tele exit part, is a little bit higher than the ledges here, which means I have the advantage when it comes to rockets, and obviously I know that I have a lower stack compared to him, so I don't actually want to take this LG fight. I just I started the LG fight because I wanted to force myself to get the small armor, but then after getting it and dealing some damage to him, I fall back behind cover because this pillar is actually really useful here when you are at this area and fighting someone on Mega side. So I use this pillar, and I have a rocket launcher and the height advantage, and just try to peek out, do like a rocket near his feet, and hide back behind the pillar while my rocket launcher is reloading, so I can fire again. So during that time, he's not gonna be able to hit me back, but for some reason he decided to just keep trying to LG me, which didn't work because, yeah, I had a cover to hide behind, and meanwhile my rockets were actually dealing massive amounts of damage. So overall, even though I was lower on stack, and initially he had the advantage, I turned it back around just by positioning myself properly and using the right weapon for the situation. So I hide behind cover, I am still lower on stack, but now I can hide, and then I switch away to rocket, and he's still trying to LG me, but it's not gonna work because I'm hidden, so he can't hit me. And meanwhile, sometimes I peek out from the left, other times from the right, and I just try to spam him with rockets and deal as much damage as possible, and that's exactly what happens. Decent rocket, decent rocket, decent rocket, he's dead. He had no way to do anything. He had no cover, he couldn't hit me with LG. By the time he realized this and wanted to switch away to rocket, he was already dead. So I turned a very bad situation into a very good one for myself, even though initially I was very careless and was at a huge disadvantage. What would he do to avoid to lose this fight? Either position himself in a way that I have no way to get in behind cover, because an LG versus LG fight he would have won, or switch away to the rocket sooner and just spam behind that pillar. Like, even if he's standing, let me show. Even if he's standing on this ledge part here that is lower than the pillar part, he still can, if he aims properly, precisely enough, he can hit right next to the pillar in a way that even though I'm behind it, I still would get like a direct hit or like 90 damage, because it explodes right next to it. So he could have done that, but by the time he realized that he shouldn't use the LG because it's not working, and he switches away, he fires the rocket to the right place. You can see the explosion here, but by then I'm already not there, and he's gonna die. So it was kind of a brain dead move from me at the beginning, but then that rail he hit me with kind of woke me up, I guess, and then I realized what I needed to do in order to turn the situation back around in my favor, and then I won that fight.
Again, dramiS can't get the LG damage out. The rail's great, but you need to be able to clean up on that, and the mop apparently not performing the way he wanted it to. No cleanup on that one, and dramiS.
Alright, so what happened here? Let me see.
G damage out. The rail's great.
Yeah, so I know that he's at rail, and I try to go through the telly because I know Mega is about to spawn. again, this is on any server, so for me, I was already through the telly probably by the time he hits me.
But you need to be able to clean.
And so, whatever, that guy's there, I'm still good. And I know that he's gonna come from the LG stairs, so I just spam down some rockets. And, you know, I feel like it should have killed him here, like he's kind of running into my rockets. He does hit a rail on me, which makes me very low. I might have not realized it at the time as I was dropping down, because I was focusing on my rockets more so than on receiving damage. But to be fair, here, I remember this, on my screen, the rocket exploded. The last rocket I fire before he enters the telly, on my screen, because, you know, ping differences, it exploded before he went through the telly, and if it actually did register, like I've seen it on my end, he would have died to that rocket. But nope, he goes through it, even though it explodes right next to him, cause ping. And then, I guess I was at this point kind of frustrated because he should have died, and I wanted my frag, so I went after him, even though I shouldn't have, because it was risky. So like this rocket I fired, maybe wouldn't have killed him, I guess, after all. At the time I thought it would have, but I guess it wouldn't have. Point is, I felt like I was robbed from a direct rocket hitting, so I just went after him. I guess I was just seeing red. I wanted my frag. Yeah, I went after him, and then what I didn't account for is the turret being here. Even though you could hear that and see that he was like throwing it to the telly as he was going through. I don't know, I guess things happened so fast, I just didn't think much of it, and went after him, and I was like, yeah, the turret is gonna be there, but who cares, I'll just fire one more rocket, get the kill, and then get out of this line of sight of the turret and not die to it. But nope, my rocket didn't do anything in this corner, and then I died. You can even see my head, I was like, what the fuck just happened? Look at my head. Yeah, fuck that. Anyway, yep. Here, again, I was kind of careless, just ran into it. I probably assumed, you know, before going to that small armor, oh yeah, there is a chance he's gonna rush me down at rocket. And yeah, you know, I might die again, but let's risk it anyway. Let's take the small armor and see what happens. And yep, so basically that happened, and then somehow I just survived it. I should have died here, but I didn't. I think it's partially because I was Anarchy. First of all, Anarchy is hard to hit as he's jumping around because of his hoverboard and all, and secondly, his movement style allows him to get back from falling out, like prevent yourself from falling out, because you can kind of air control yourself back onto the ledge, because his rocket here actually would have bounced me out if I was anything but Anarchy or Sword Leg, you know, or Clutch or whatever, like, you know, something that doesn't have this mobility. But I was lucky enough to grab onto the ledge anyway, and then I killed him, and I had 11 health, I think, and I stepped into the acid, which deals 10 damage, so I was I was surviving this whole situation with 1 health. But you know what? Obviously calculated, you know.
Is this Tony Hawk Pro Skater or is it Quake Champions? I have no idea how that happened, but I saw the kickflip into the frag. We're tied 2 apiece.
And he jumped over the acid too. That was the craziest shit I've ever seen. Yeah. He was teetering on the edge of the window, kickflipped over the acid, still got the frag with 1 HP. RAISY is nuts.
That was pretty wild. I was absolutely expecting that to be a dramiS frag. And
hey Biker, hey Demon.
He surprises us as he constantly does. And that's also that showcase of listen. You don't give up until you're actually dead. Your corpse is on the ground, right? He was like, no, I can still get this frag, and he did. So we're tied 2-2 with just 2 minutes and 18 seconds passed on this clock. So there's a lot of time in this one, but this is
okay, here I on purpose took a rail fight, even though I expected him to rail me. I was like, that's fine, I'll just do my best to rail you back, because I have items to fall back onto, whereas you don't. So yeah, you rail me and I get low on health, but you won't kill me. And if I do rail you back, you won't die just yet, but you will be low on health and there won't be any armor for you to stack up with. Whereas I go through the telly, there's a small armor, there's the mega, I'm in control, I have good position, I know that heavy is not gonna spawn for a while, but when it does, I'll be ready to take it. So I on purpose took that rail fight, even though I knew that I was gonna get railed. I didn't mind it because it was worth it for me, and especially because I managed to rail him back. Even if I hadn't railed him back, it would have been okay because it was like a calculated risk and a part of my plan, not like me seeing red, as in, I did it in a calculated manner, not like a just rolling the dice kind of thing. It was more like, I know that this is the situation and these are the possible outcomes. Let's try to do our best to, uh, have the outcome where I rail you. It doesn't matter if you rail me back. If it's obviously better if you don't, but if you do, it's not a big problem. And if it happens that I get railed and I don't rail you back, it's still not that big of a problem because I have a mega and a small armor to fall back onto. I'll have the good position for the next heavy, so it's fine. But, I did rail him back, we both railed each other, so overall it was obviously a favorable outcome for me.
Good, like preview of what we might see in the next, 2 games as well.
Yeah, I would love to see this be the start and kind of dictating the pace of the entire set. 23.
Okay, here, well, he railed me twice, and like I said, high ping match, so the teleport plays are kinda impossible to predict and do anything about, really, because basically on my screen I get railed before I even see him come through the telly and stuff like that because of ping differences and reaction times and the way I see from my POV compared to what the server registers and what he sees and stuff like that. So like the telly plays whenever he like goes back and forth between the teleports, and I know like, oh, he could be here and he could be there, and I assume that he's gonna be at one of those locations, and I hold down the angle, but then it's hard to explain. But if you have played on high ping before and you have been in a situation where you try to fight someone who is going back and forth between the tellies, it's just impossible basically to hit them unless you do it like perfectly, with the timing of your shots. But like I said earlier, for example, that rocket in that earlier fight by the mega teleport, on my screen the rocket exploded before he went through the telly, but according to the server he was already through the telly, so my rocket did 0 damage. It's kind of similar with these situations at heavy telly as well. So rockets are useless, tribot is useless, machine gun could be useful, lightning gun if it reaches that far could be useful, railgun is probably the best to use, but again, if I don't have a fast enough reaction time and a precise enough aim, I won't be able to retaliate. So basically, he's just gonna hold down the angle, go through the telly whenever he hits the shot, and then I don't really have any means to apply to that, basically. Trying to see, read all the chat, catch up on chat. Yeah, what Aaron says is also something that happens quite often. Very often, when you play against someone who has a high ping, or like, it doesn't have to be against someone with a high ping, but it's just like between the two of you, there's like a high ping difference. Whenever a matchup like that happens, teleport plays are just kind of random, like just all over the place, inconsistent bullshit. Because sometimes the server just doesn't know what to do with you. You get hit even though you're already through the telly, but the server is like, well, that shot's still connected, so we're gonna remove your health and we're also gonna remove your momentum, and even though you are already through the telly and that rail that hit you before the telly should push you forward and give you momentum, but now you're positioning towards a different angle, so even though you are like going this way and the rail was like pushing you like backwards or whatever compared to the telly exit, you're gonna remove your momentum speed and some of your stack because fuck you. Basically. Anyway, yeah, so that happens on Awoken a lot as well. When you go from, let's say you die, you respawn at LG on Awoken, you pick up the weapon and you go through the telly to get to Rocket, but from heavy you get railed, and so it pushes you towards a different angle than you should go because of server thinking that the rail hit you before the telly, but you're actually through the telly, but the knockback applies to you after the teleport. So it's like, it's a weird mess of I don't even know like what to call this. Basically just the server communicating with the client. It's just messy. And it's all because, well, it's mostly because of high ping difference. But it could happen on lower pings as well. You know, depends on basically what the server wants to happen. Hard to explain, but I'm pretty sure most of you have experienced this before, so you know what I mean. Let's continue.
There's a jump over the heavy, no contest. This drama's too weak, doesn't want to risk it. Hanging out in the Thunderdome, using those bubbles. Just missing out on a rail, but so does RAISY. Again, stacks still equal.
Yeah, and of course, RAISY on the Anarchy, those rails, they
Thank you. Yeah, I had fun at KingCon.
And
it was nice meeting people, and I was enjoying competing. Even though it might not be visible on my face most of the time, you know, but still, trust me, I like competing and all. I'm not sure if that rail had hit him on my screen. Kinda looked like acceptable that it didn't.
I love the airstrafing RAISY used to kind of catch dramaS off guard on where he would be after he rocket jumped through the telly, and now just pure aggression. RAISY needs to be careful. 8 HP, but hits the rail. Doesn't even care about Timmy.
Doesn't. No, it just goes right past it. Doesn't matter that Timmy can look a little bit faster now, but 5 to 2, RAISY a little bit low on health, but it doesn't matter through the teleporter.
I'm trying to see if there's anything important pointing out, but these fights didn't really have much importance. Like nothing special happened that I should talk about. I think it's just
try to land those rails, close the gap, get in. But I would say RAISY grades a little bit better on terms of how he's been cleaning up some of these frags. And if we saw that out of dramiS,
but let me just say that, you know, I have been talking about ping issues, and I have been complaining about stuff not really going the way it should, like, you know, not connecting that rocket because of ping differences and getting hit by a rail that would normally not hit me and stuff like that. But I just want to point out that it is the same for dramiS as well. Obviously, it's not just, you know, bad for me. It's both. It's bad for both of us, especially depending on which server we play on. Against his matchup, I played on NA twice, on the first map and on the third one, and the second map was on EU. But even if I play on EU server, but I play against someone who has higher ping, the bullshit will still happen. But it's slightly better for me to play on EU against someone from NA than to play on NA as an EU player against someone from NA, you know. So it's still bad both ways, no matter the server, and it's gonna be bad for both of us. So he most likely had similar situations where bullshit happened on his end that would not have happened on low ping. But I can only point out my POV because, you know, I only remember what I did, and I can only see what actually happened on the stream from spectator view. But I do remember, you know, when I did play, like what all those situations were, and so I can point them out and talk about them. And of course, I don't know his POV, so I can only see what happens from the spectator view, and on spectator you can't really see much of the bullshit really. You know, you would need to compare it to his POV or my POV. Be able to point out the differences between what the client sees and what the server registers. Crazy watching RAISY? Yes, today I figured I never watch back VODs. I just don't do it. I don't know. I guess I just prefer playing and learning that way. But watching back VODs is actually very useful, and I should be doing it. I don't know. I just could never get myself to. For me, it's kind of boring, and especially if I lose the match, I have a really hard time getting myself to watch it back and analyze it and all that. But I figured, you know, it's already late, but I wanted to stream. And so instead of trying to find ranked matches that will never fucking happen, endless fucking queue times, so instead of that, let's watch back a VOD. Why not, you know? It's gonna be useful. Hey Aaron, how are you? RAISYception, hey Celts. Alright, let's continue.
Back in his favor a little bit. There's a nice rocket that hits. The eject does come out. Once again, just protecting that top so we can get that.
By the way, Celts, well played during last week's study. I am very pleasantly surprised with how much you've improved in the last couple of months, so well done. I assume you've been practicing a lot and it has paid out, and so well done, keep at it. I'm waiting for you in QPL. Same for you, Hell, you should really try to qualify.
Another day.
Yeah, and interesting to look at the rail percentage here. 50% for dramiS, 47% for RAISY, so about equal. Items looks like...
I like this angle. I like this angle because most of the time when they look down from around the heavy ledges, let me just pause the right moment. Alright, so you can see that he's standing on the ledge that is around heavy, and he's looking towards rail, but he cannot see me. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna jump for heavy because like, oh, the coast is clear, I can take the heavy. And so I'm just holding down the angle still in a way that, first of all, I can see that he's gonna go and take heavy, so I will know the timing if I'm paying attention to it. Second of all, I'll have a chance to rail him. And third of all, it's gonna be way more less likely that he's gonna hit me back because it's an unusual angle and he already kinda did like look there and I wasn't there, so maybe he's just gonna run across, like jump across, not really paying attention anymore because he already cleared the area. But in reality I'm still holding the angle, but just in a way that he cannot see me from where he's standing at the moment. So unless he jumps across, well, heavy won't be taken and we won't be in line of sight to rail each other. But the longer he waits with taking heavy, the more likely it is that eventually Mega will spawn and I will go for it instead of waiting for him to get my heavy. But anyway, that won't happen. 17 seconds until Mega, so anyway, I'm just holding down the angle, and you know, I did get railed. He expected it, which is, you know, fair enough, very nice from him. I guess experience shows that he's been in this situation before, and he's also a strong railer. But nonetheless, I just wanted to point out I really like this angle. I think it's clever and I think it's very useful, and many times it works out really well.
Items looks like 10 majors for RAISY, and
it's very easy actually to hit him as well because the way he jumps across, let me just go back again, just one sec.
RAISY, so about
The way he jumps across, because I'm standing closer to the jump pad here, I'm actually at a better angle to see more of him as he jumps across instead of just like the bottom half of his legs. You know, I have a better chance of actually being able to hit him, and it's a very nice and easy angle to hold down. I don't really even have to react much, just press the fire button, the attack button. I don't have to like flick or anything like that because I can see like so much of him, I have enough time to react.
Equal. items. Looks like 10 majors for RAISY and 9 now for dramiS.
He didn't do too much to me. He's still 100 and I got railed, so I don't even have any armor to work with. But at least I held him up for a little while, you know. He's not gonna commit to attacking me. But he's still in full control. And I'm still hiding. But, you know, at least I railed him, I guess. And I won a couple of seconds of survival thanks to that.
Managed to pick up a light, gets a second one, feels much more comfortable now actually in battle. Couple rockets coming from down below and then into the center. Misses that rail, but might be able to get advantage here at the top. Gonna wait it out for... Actually, he's not gonna have a chance to get in on...
I think I might have been on the run for the rest of this match, as in not really trying to commit for fights, to fights, and not trying to get the control either. Just trying to survive, I guess. I might be wrong. I am wrong. Well, I don't even know what to say about the situation. I guess I just hit every single rocket. It's not something like I was like planning on doing or a clever move or anything, but it just worked.
For RAISY, LG out. Oh, beeps of death right there. He can't get the final little bit of damage. There it is for frag number 8-6 now between these two. And RAISY's looking to...
I changed my mind.
His win here, if he can, in the next few seconds. But dramiS, all right, that's what he needed. He needed to throw...
Somehow, like, I always fail at making the right decision to escape from this area here. Whenever I'm on the run and I'm hiding somewhere around the railgun room on this map, I always make the wrong decision of which way to try to run towards. If I try to run downwards at the railgun jump pad, my opponent always comes from there. If I try to be cautious and go up this jump pad here by a machine gun, my opponent always like comes from the heavy platform. If I try to run away to LG, somehow he is there and just gets cuts me off, and I run into him and I die. It's just, I never know where to run from there. And I hate it because I feel like I'm doing so well trying to avoid fights, knowing when to fall back and all that. And I'm in a good position. Like, this railgun room is actually a really good position to run away from because you have so many options. But I just seem to always choose the wrong one. I don't know how I do it. It's annoying. I feel like chances of me running towards the right way should be way higher than what the actual like what actually always happens. It's just whatever.
He's looking to try to solidify his win here if he can.
Somehow I thought he was gonna chase me from heavy platform, not to jump down to rail jump pad.
Crazy!
But whatever.
The next few seconds, but dramiS, all right, that's what he needed. He needed to throw a wall in front of RAISY, and this is his first step.
Yeah, not bad at all. Good start. But he needs to pick up the pace here, waiting on that Mega. He's going to dive down 15 seconds to the heavy, so he needs to look for damage and go on the hunt here. RAISY goes up the jump pad. There's a little bit of LG. Uses the engine.
I love how my tribal didn't help at all with holding him up. The tribal actually launches him towards me. Why do my rockets and tribal always do this? It's just like, I know that he's going to come at me from wherever, and I spam that way, and instead of it hitting him and like bouncing him all over the place, holding him up, getting rid of his momentum and all that, it just fucking launches him towards me. Why?
RAISY's going to a bit of a defensive posture. There's a nice little rocket that does come out, and RAISY's now in that scary spot. Oh, I like what dramiS did there. He did not go for that Mega right away. Actually looked for that frag because he knows he needs to pick that up here pretty soon.
I like being Anarchy.
RAISY's doing
I think it's my favorite champion.
giving him the
Just
chase.
the way I can abuse his movement.
Frags are needed by
He's
dramiS,
fast, he's
but
agile.
cannot seem to find RAISY, and when he does
I just
find
love it,
RAISY, finally
you know.
gets to the rail,
I
can't
would
find
play
the
Anarchy on
second.
any map
Really needs to try to
very
follow
gladly.
just one more frag here before it hits the 8-minute mark.
Really nice rails. As RAISY is just giving him the opportunity here. Mega picked up. dramiS rocket jumps. He might have another angle, but dramiS just missing out on the ability. RAISY using that speed again, just hanging on with, what, 75 HP tops right
Like the
now?
commentators are saying,
Yep. And
I'm out of control,
couple of lights.
but I'm
There we
Monarchy,
go.
so I can just fucking run.
He missed it.
There's no way for him as an Aizen to catch me, unless I run into him. Or he has like a turret already pre-placed at the perfect location for me to run into. Other than that, I can just run, and there's no way for him to catch me.
Even without the inject, just trying to stay away from his opponent.
Basically the same as when I am on when I'm clutch against a Galena on this map, which is like one of my recent videos of me playing hide and seek, basically.
Probably feel pretty good going into map number 2 with a solid
Bless you.
frag lead. Looks like he's gonna try to do it, but dramiS has got to make something happen here.
Well, I was a little bit slow to react, but like the way I was like, wee. I wasn't even trying to retaliate fire. I was just like,
but dramiS just can't find the he needs because he's not fast enough.
Yeah, and you know, someone in chat even said this is so frustrating to play versus Anarchy, and it's true, right? I mean, if I was to look back and give a hindsight report,
somehow here I died, even though I was like, yeah, there, he's dead. Like I didn't have to take that fight, but I was like, oh, I got him. You know, I pinned him against the wall. I'm melting away his stack, and somehow I just died anyway.
Both players incredibly low. There's the first rail, looking for a second one. He's been having problems with his cleanups today, and it prevents yet another frag. I was going to mention that if some of those LG hits would have connected early on in the match, he could already have those couple of frags that he needed. But right now, 20 seconds left. I think that is going to be it. Drama had a chance. The window is open 40, but unfortunately, it is shut.
Yeah, that's definitely frustrating, I think, is the key word for this first map for dramiS. Whether it be the lack of cleanup, as you said, or just trying to chase and get the ability to try and frag. It's just, it didn't go his way, unfortunately. RAISY playing it perfectly with the...
I wasn't happy. My reaction there. We have a look.
He taking map number 1, but didn't go his way, unfortunately. RAISY playing it perfectly with the...
Don't like hyping games. Fuck that.
But I really feel like map number 2 is going to be a lot closer given the...
Alright, well that was map 1. I think my clutch is not my best anymore. I don't think clutch has been my best for a very long time now. He's been nerfed so many times and so hard. He's basically impossible to play nowadays on pro level because it's so hard to make him work right. There are so many things you have to do perfectly throughout the whole match, not just once or twice, like every now and then during a fight or whatever, but just like throughout the whole map you have to play him perfectly with your movement, with which weapons you're using, when you are using ability, how you are using ability, like in what way, as in like aggressively or not, and when you are activating it. And then after using ability, you have to be basically forfeiting your control if you had it to begin with, because you have to be on the run to stack back up again, because there's no way you're gonna be stacked enough for another fight after fighting once as clutch. And then you have to also get the hourglasses to make your ability be ready for the next situation. And so it's just like you have to pay attention to so many more things, and you have to do so much more perfectly in order to make whatever you do as clutch work. That is just not really viable anymore, really. It's really hard to not get punished whatever you do. And then if you do get punished, it's insanely difficult to get back into control and not lose the lead. It's just, you are fast, you are stacked, and you have good movement style, but it's just, you're so easy to hit and you get pinned against the wall, and the shotgun deals like 90 damage from mid-range, and railgun is gonna hit you all the time, every time, even if you're like behind cover, because you stick out kind of compared to other characters, and it's just so difficult to be successful as clutch that it's not really worth even trying anymore. You know, it's so much more likely that you're gonna lose a matchup on pro level as a clutch than if you were to go, let's say, Anarchy, you know. I could be Anarchy on any of the maps, and I would be very comfortable doing it against basically any character, you know, in the game. But as Clutch, it has to be the right map against the right champion, and preferably against a player that you know is gonna have a harder time against Clutch than others, you know. I wouldn't really wanna be Clutch against someone who hits insanely hard, because, you know, I'm Clutch. I'm gonna get hit hard anyway, but if I'm playing against someone like, I don't know, let's say Tox, you know, I won't even be able to move, basically, because I was just gonna be like glued to the ground by his LG and machine gun, and he's gonna hit every rail on me, and his shotgun is gonna deal like 90 damage to me from mid-range, and it's like I'm gonna die in like 2 to 3 shots, and that's it. And, you know, so it's better to play against, let's say, like, for example, I would be okay, I would even dare to say happy to be Clutch on Peanut if I play against, let's say, a Galena, you know, or a Visor. Not very often people play Visor on Whale, but point is, if I play a Clutch against a character that is gonna struggle to survive my aggressiveness because of my movement, that's more of a favorable matchup, you know. Clutch game was pretty much the only reason you picked Sorlek. I cannot remember it. I don't remember it. Toxis chooses BJ dual LG. Yeah, Clutch won't survive that for like half a second even. I know it happened last week, but I just don't remember the situation, the matchup. Which map was it even? I don't even know that. Fuck, my brain is just like, my memory is so bad sometimes. I honestly cannot remember. But yeah, anyway, point is, Clutch is hard to be successful with, on pro level especially. And so, but I have always enjoyed playing Clutch, playing as Clutch. I like his movement style. I like the challenge of playing him being hard. But at the same time, I really enjoy playing as Anarchy and Sorlek because I love their movement style as well. I come from CS to Quake, and in CS I used to surf all the time, every time, you know, like every day basically for weeks. And surfing is basically the same movement as you have with Anarchy and Sorlek with the air control, you know, the way you bunny hop and turn in air and gain speed and all that. It's very similar to surfing in CS, which I used to do a lot and love to do. And so to me, playing Anarchy and Sorlek came very easily when I first started playing Quake Champions, and I had to learn these characters and their movement styles. And I just, from the get-go, I fell in love with that movement style. And so, you know, I have been an Anarchy player and a Sorlek player ever since I started playing Quake Champions. But of course I picked up Clutch along the way as well, and I was very good as Clutch. And then he got nerfed, and I'm not so good anymore, but not because I don't know how to play him. It's more of because of how hard it became to play him properly, you know. What changes would I do to Clutch to be competitive on pro level? Hard to tell, honestly. What would I change against Clutch to balance him properly? Maybe make him a little bit smaller, both his model and hitbox. I'm not quite sure, you know. It's hard to tell because obviously I could say anything, but we wouldn't know if it would be the right thing to mess around with. Maybe there's better ways to balance him. I'm not sure, you know, what I would do, but especially not sure what would be the right thing to do. But I guess if he was a little bit smaller and harder to hit, then it would be easier to be as him, because it would be as punishing to take fights and show yourself and be out in the open or whatever, you know. It might be too much to, you know, get him smaller, because if he does get too small and gets even harder to hit with his movement, I mean, like, he's not hard to hit, but whenever he's like moving fast around the map and dashing all over the place, then he's, you know, not as easy to hit, because it's hard to predict where he's gonna dash towards and stuff like that, and he can do it really fast. But I mean, like, if he gets too small with model and hitbox size, then he's still gonna remain with the same speed and movement style, and then his ability to tank the incoming damage. So altogether that might be like too much, and he would become too strong. So like I said, I don't really know what would be the perfect way to balance him, but maybe we could try reducing his size a little bit. I don't actually know. I know better with other characters what I would do to balance them properly. I still think Ranger's orb is too strong, and Scalebearer is also fucked up in many ways. I would just... Man, I would nerf Scale so hard if I could. I just hate him. I hate him with a passion. Oh well, anyway, let's continue. Let's find where the second map begins.
We will find out in about 10 minutes. We're live.
Alright, so Slash against Strog.
Yeah.
I wasn't very happy about this matchup because obviously you don't really want to let dramiS be Slash. He's really fucking good with Slash's movement. He knows how to move really well with Slash. He gets really fast, and the way he's like slaloming towards wherever he's going is also making it very difficult to hit him. You know, I know how to move with Slash, and I'm not bad as Slash, but I'm not nowhere near as good as some of the pros. You know, they are way better at crowd sliding, the way they control her movement, the way they can make it last longer and make it faster. You know, I'm not as good, so I respect the way he plays Slash, so I wasn't happy that he got to pick Slash, but I couldn't avoid it for I don't know what reason. I remember that when we did the picks, I kinda had to let him be Slash, and then just try to answer it somehow, and then I picked Strog, try to answer his pick as Slash. Scalebearer is broken as is. I don't want to see any of those things happen to him. Fucking double jump, crowd slide, and invisibility. Fuck that. Why not just, you know, make him have quad as well? Scalebearer has the most fun moments though. Depends. If you are on the receiving end, it's more frustrating than fun. You know? If you're competing and you have to play against a Scalebearer and then you die to his bullshit, like for example, one of the biggest bullshit about Scalebearer that I just hate with a passion is that when you hit him with the rocket that bounces him towards you, you actually get hit by his passive, and it can actually kill you. And that's just, to me, the most stupid fucked up shit whenever you fight a Scalebearer. Because, like, your rocket bounces him towards you with such speed that it actually deals damage that he touches you, and then it gets you killed. That's just stupid. That's just fucking stupid. But it does happen quite often, unfortunately for me, because I'm usually on the receiving end. And so yeah, I hate it. I really do hate it. I would remove his passive. Definitely. This passive of his. And I would also make it so whenever he is running, you know, with the forward key and he is on maximum running speed, he can immediately do a 180 and not lose any speed. And that's why, like, people do like this movement with him, like going all over the fucking place, like he's like mad, like has rabies or whatever, and it's just going apeshit crazy. And so I would also do something about that movement style of his, you know? I would definitely try to do like a little bit of speed loss whenever he turns so fast, so he cannot do and abuse that bullshit, like, you know, movement when he's going all over the fucking place. I hate playing against the Scalebearer on pro level. Playing against the Scalebearer is just as frustrating as Quake Champion can get, you know? Especially if you play against someone who knows how to abuse Scalebearer, you know? The way he can bull rush and turn 180, you know, mid-air while bull rushing and then just knock into you and then just, oh man, his movement style and everything. I get that it also requires skill and all that, but it's still bullshit, you know. I hate him. I just really do. Ah, oh well. Coupland, thank you for the sub. Alright, let's continue. So yeah, him being Slash, I am Strog Sarnet. See ya, Hakara.
Let's see how he's going to use it to move on through.
We can already see that he's really fast and good with crowd slide, which obviously I wasn't happy about, but I was like, you know, it is what it is. I somehow have to be able to find an answer to it. Okay, so what happened here, I rewinded 10 seconds, sorry. So what happens here, I get railed, but I don't really mind it because I can still get to heavy. I'm stacked enough to get to heavy, and it's worth it for me to get railed and get to heavy because I know even if he tries to fight me there, I have a rocket launcher and it's gonna be close range at heavy, where I can even use the walls around the heavy armor to get behind cover, because I know that he doesn't have a rocket launcher. I spawned on rocket, he cannot have it just yet, and yes, he has a rail and an LG, but he's not gonna come close range with a rail, and if it comes close range with an LG, I'll be able to use those walls to hide behind, you know, and use them as cover. And meanwhile, I have a rocket launcher, which is a way more favorable weapon for that situation, unless you fuck up your rockets completely, which can happen, but it's less likely to. So I was happy to get into the right position at heavy and force it out to make it mine. Even though I did get railed, I didn't mind it, it was worth it. And at the same time I got the weapons as well, because like I said, I spawned on the rocket side, so I was only just collecting the LG, I think, or rail or whatever, LG, yeah. So yeah, like you can see, like, he's here and he's trying to rail me. I'm not showing myself, so his railgun is useless at the moment. And if he were to come closer with an LG to actually have line of sight on me, I have the advantage with the rocket launcher. So, you know, smartly enough, he decides not to fight this situation, and falls back and goes for Mega Side and takes rocket launcher. And for the next time it wouldn't work, because by then he would have the rocket launcher, and he would have a decent stack, and the plasma trail, so he could force himself into the heavy room, but not this time, and I was aware of it, so I, you know, made the most of it.
And I like this. I think that's a pretty smart strat. You know, is it going to be sustainable? Probably not, but he had a good idea of what.
Okay, here I don't know how or why, but he decided to be here and I did not expect it at all, so it caught me off guard and I died without dealing any damage.
Next direct rocket into the rail, and a beautiful opening for frag number 1.
I guess I expected him to be on Mega, and I don't know why he wasn't on Mega. Maybe he missed his jump across, because he was, I think he was on rocket and he tried to jump across towards Mega, but he might have fallen down next to the Mega platform. I don't think it was on purpose, but it might have been. But if it was on purpose, then I don't really understand why he chose to do that instead of securing Mega for himself. But let's have another look, because like here you can see he goes for the rocket launcher because he needs that weapon for later. And then here, I don't know why he decides to jump down, because I have already taken heavy a long time ago, I think. Did I? Cannot tell. Maybe not. Whatever. Point is, Mega is about to spawn, and, you know, I just don't understand if he did it on purpose, why it's beneficial to come down here. Because, for example, I could have been like up here, and if I know that he's down here, I would check on Mega and just steal it from him for free. So I assume he didn't mean to fall down, but when he did fall down and saw me, he decided to take the fight instead of falling back and securing Mega. And it did work out, you know, I was caught off guard and I got killed without even dealing any damage. But I just didn't understand it at the time. And I still don't really understand it, but whatever.
Not, but he had a good idea of what RAISY was going to do next. Direct rocket into the rail, and a beautiful opening for frag number 1.
Start the dramiS wants. Can he tack more on, though? Nice heavy pickup, absolutely clean. Does have the snail trail as well. And I would love if there was like a statistic for how long you had certain weapons out, because I feel like dramiS is just rail all day. Amazing rockets there.
Decent rockets from me, but not a good situation to begin with.
That weapon switch there was actually not going to work out well for dramiS, but for whatever reason, RAISY decided to stay on that platform and go ahead and fight it. That meant dramiS clean up pretty easily. It's going to trail down near the heavy, and heavy is going to come out. There's a jumping rail and the peeker, but peeker's just going to like wildly spin around all rabid and do a little bit of damage before going down. A 2-frag lead, similar to what we
Not possible to hear me from that far away. He was on rocket, I was on rail, there's no way he heard me.
11 frag deficit. I think this guy is capable of a lot.
Absolutely. Here's again, dramiS doing a great job. Timing the items, doing some great damage here. He does give up the mega, but a great rail as RAISY wants a piece of this heavy. Snail trail comes out, and dramiS is able to just land these big rockets. 3-0 for dramiS right now.
Yeah, I mean, you really start to start thinking, okay, what is RAISY gonna do here, right? He's taken a lot of up.
I just wanna have a look at how much damage my point blank range shotgun did to him.
RAISY gonna do?
Actually, hold on. I'm using Tribolt at the moment. Okay, so he has 69 plus 26, 95,
He's taken a lot.
and now he has 80. My math might not be correct, but did I just do 15 damage with a super shotgun from point blank range to him? 15. Could have killed him, you know, with one shot, but nope. 15.
Close battles that are not in his favor.
Okay.
That was number 4 right there. Easy dispatch by dramiS to add on to the lead here. But some sort of a comeback has to go. Now a rocket from the top. RAISY knows and smells blood, so he's going to go down. It doesn't yield a frag, but he does get the heavy, and that will throw dramiS a little bit out of his pattern and or cycle that he was going through.
Arrow keys for 5 seconds. Okay, thank you.
Now looking to see if
I shall use them instead.
He's playing with fire. 89 HP, and RAISY picks him out right before the light armor pickup. What a shot. So much speed. Tribolt speed bumps as RAISY in hot pursuit right now. Swaps to the LG. The machine gun's not going to be enough for dramiS, and oh, he can't get away.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be running away from RAISY in that sort of scenario where he can get an easy lock on you with that LG. But not much you can do, right? There's only so many options in which way you can go. RAISY's already clawed 2 back here in the last about 40 seconds or so. So dramiS, you get a nice rally like that, and you hope to compound as much as you can, right? 40, but stopped at 4. Probably needs to slow down just a little bit.
Nice speaker, very fucking useful.
Already turning on the pressure. Another fight here for the heavy, but RAISY loses that opportunity. dramiS does grab it. A little bit of damage does go out, but it pretty much ends up a draw. dramiS comes out a little bit low, and the LG once again. Is he going to be able to clean this one up? He's looking for it. He's trying some defensive rockets. A slide around the side. The LG back out again, and in the corner, painted.
I was so scared at this moment because I wasn't looking at my health, but I was like afraid that I'm below 90, so I'm railable, like 91, below 91, and I'm railable. And I was just like trying to place that perfect rocket and hide behind that pillar, not to be railed. And he peeks out. Like I was like trying to like fire one rocket quickly here and then hide behind this pillar so I don't get railed. I wasn't sure that I wasn't railable at the moment, you know. I just felt like I might have been, and so I wanted to play it safe, you know, better safe than sorry.
Some defensive rockets, a slide around the side, the LG in the corner, painted and ousted with another rocket. 4-3, RAISY almost back.
dramiS just wants to do so much damage, but he wasn't getting the big chunky rockets that he really needed in that fight, and it cost him another frag, and now he's in a bad position. That's a fantastic defensive rail, but 68 HP. He's gonna go for it, and he does steal away the heavy at least. Survives a 27-52 after a bubble. Make that 77 looking a little bit better. There's the chase. Great rocket from RAISY just to keep him defensive, but the rail vertically won't hit, and now dramiS playing ring around the Rosie. There's the 13 damage rocket. RAISY plants him with the rail.
And even had the peeker on backup just in case. Oh my God, what?
Wow.
I'm not even sure how that happened, but LG wins, and somehow 2 frags out of that, picking up just a little bit of health there in between, and another one. Are you serious?
Somehow I managed to chain up a few frags, and that actually was really fucking useful.
All 3 of those into 1 frag, does that count, 40? I don't know, but maybe they should think
Like
about
one, I don't even know if it was a mistake from him. I'll watch it back now. Where did it actually start? I think this fight maybe? How did this fight start? So he was down at heavy, which shouldn't have happened really, because he was stuck at rocket, but I was just not able to hit any of my shots, and he managed to get away somehow, and then he even stole. Let me sit comfortably, 1 sec. Yeah, he even stole heavy, and I just feel like, you know, out of 10 situations like this, he would have died like 7 to 8 times, but this one time I didn't even deal damage to him really.
dramiS just wants to do so much damage, but he wasn't getting the big chunky
So yeah, he gets away. I miss everything, and then a little bit of splash here, but still not enough to stop him from getting heavy. The rocket that I fired after him as I left actually hit him before he took the heavy, which means he's low on health, but he still has a lot of armor. And it was actually better for me, because if he had picked up heavy and then the rocket hit, then he would still have a decent amount of both health and armor, which is more scary for me, because right now he is railable. It doesn't matter he has so much armor, because some of it will still go to the health when I rail him. Like some of the stack is gonna be reduced from his health, not from his armor. So at the moment he's still railable, which probably made him not chase after me. But if it was, my rocket was like hitting him after he picked up heavy, it's likely that he would not have been railable, and maybe then he would have decided to chase me here, and I am railable, and so that way there would have been a chance for him to kill me. But yeah, my rocket actually connected before he picked up heavy, so I guess he just didn't dare to chase after me and decided to play it safe, which meant that I had the chance to stack up here. And then after that, what happened? I decided to go towards the telly. I don't even try to get a position for the next mega, because I am like not stacked enough to comfortably challenge it. But then, for some reason, he shows up here. I react to it with a rocket that actually deals a decent amount of damage, and so I decide to take the fight.
There's the chase. Great rocket from RAISY just to keep him defensive, but the rail vertically won't hit, and now dramiS playing ring around the Rosie. There's the 13 damage rocket.
And so I kill him here, and that kind of led to like a chain of events of me getting frags and frags and frags after him dying here. Because he spawns here and he wants to steal the mega from me, but I managed to stop him from getting to it. I still get hit a lot because he pummels me and deals some machine gun damage, but I'm stacked enough to survive it and kill him and get the mega. And then right after I take mega, pay attention to what I do, because I will try to immediately position myself here. Not in this corner, but like on the mega side, so inside this wall, inside this hallway, but against this wall here, which forces him to spawn by the lower armor here in the corner, which grants me the possibility, the chance to spawn kill him. And if I hadn't done that, like I kill him at mega, but I don't spawn force him into this corner, then yeah, I wouldn't have another chance to kill him again. He would spawn somewhere else, somewhere safe. But I was aware enough and experienced enough to know that I should use this opportunity to try to spawn frag him, and so I forced him by just quickly standing at the right position, which made him spawn here. But you'll see that in a second, so just pay attention. Like immediately after I kill him, I get into position and I'm ready to take a rail shot at him when he spawns.
And even had the peeker on back.
So yeah, here he does a lot of damage. I pick up the Mega, I step for a sec, step to this side of the hallway here.
Even had the peeker on backup just in case.
So I'm gonna stand here, which is gonna make him spawn in this corner, and I will have the line of sight, and I have a railgun, and I have enough stack not to die to his starting machine gun if I, let's say, not connect my shot or he pushes me or whatever. So like all of this happened so fast, but all of it was like on purpose, and I knew what I was doing, and I planned for it, and I purposefully did what I did, and gained some advantage out of it. So like small things like this actually helps out a lot, because you know, obviously I want to win the match, and I just got myself basically a free frag just by paying a little bit more attention to what I'm doing and what's happening around me and positioning myself accordingly. So yeah, all of these little things do help a lot, and so I kill him quite a few times thanks to all of these things. And then basically I don't even really have to worry about getting more frags for the rest of the map after this. Just, you know, play a little bit safer, passively, slower, be on the run, plus back, blah blah blah. And even if eventually he kills me a few times, I'll still have enough of a lead, and you know, eventually the time will run out for him. Yep, I pressed the wrong.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, and so you could see actually that after I hit the rail, I turned towards the, after I fired the rail, I turned towards the heavy, because I knew that I want to position myself to the heavy, not to give it to him, but because there was a chance that I'm not gonna hit my shot, I gave it a chance, but I planned on failing it, like I expected me not to make it connect, you know? So I prepared myself for the next move, which would be to drop down to heavy immediately after trying to take that shot. But because I hit the shot, I then decided, okay, then try to finish it and go for killing him, getting the frag, you know, instead of getting the heavy, because I can do that after. So why not just take this free frag opportunity and then secure control? But if I had missed that shot, then even though I wouldn't get the frag, I would still go for the heavy immediately after, because I want to secure control, you know? So you could see my reaction here. I hit the rail, but I wasn't sure I'm gonna hit the rail. Not just because I'm not confident in myself, but also because I'm playing against the Slash. She's hard to hit. Also, ping differences, you know? I might think that I'm gonna hit a shot, and I feel like my aim is on point, and blah blah blah, but then the server decides, oh, it went through him, or oh, it went below his elbow, or armpit, or whatever. Point is, you know, I was prepared to miss the shot, but then still play the situation, right? But because I actually did hit the shot, I changed my mind and went for the kill, and then went for the heavy. But you could see all of this happening within a fraction of a second, you know. But I figured it's better if I explain it, because maybe some of you wouldn't notice it if I don't pinpoint it out. And also, next spawn was at heavy for him, which I'm also aware about. So when I go down here, after I kill him here at machine gun, I know there's a good chance for him to spawn at heavy because of where I'm positioned. And so as I go down these stairs here by rail, I don't immediately try to go for heavy. I stop for a fraction of a second and hold down the angle with the railgun for when he spawns. You see? Immediately as I go down... Fuck, I did too much. Immediately as I go down here, I switch to the railgun. You can see it. Well, you don't see it because my camera is in the way. Let me see. Can I go out of the way? I'll just make myself disappear for a sec. You can see that I switch immediately to the railgun as soon as I can. And then I go towards the heavy in a way that I'm still looking towards the opposite staircase where he spawns, because I expect that it's possible for him to do that. And I don't, even though I'm not very stacked, I still want to prevent him from getting the heavy, so I'm gonna challenge this fight. I'm gonna challenge going for the heavy because I want to secure it for myself, and I have the right weapons, you know. For close range I have a rocket launcher. If I manage to hit the rail on him as he spawns in, I am immediately more stacked than he is, so I'm just gonna commit to the heavy, and you'll see that I switch immediately to the rail after I start the video again, and I'm just ready for the fight because I know that this outcome is very possible, you know. It's not something that I react to when it happens, it's something that because of experience I anticipate for. And that's a very important difference. You know, it's one thing to react to something really well and very quickly, and then there's another thing of you know, being experienced enough to realize that there's a possibility for a certain situation to happen and you being prepared for it ahead of time, you know. So actually let's start the video first because you'll see that I switched to the railgun. See, I'm already on the railgun. I don't even see him spawn in. I don't even have the line of sight of the spawn location, but I have the railgun out and I'm ready. And I'm already looking towards him as I go down. I don't look towards the heavy. I'm not trying to look like anywhere else. I'm looking towards the spawn position where I expect him to be, possibly, you know. I missed the rail, but I'm still closer to the heavy, so I go for it. And I knew that it was possible for him to try to crowd slide towards me and try to pummel me, because that's like basically his best option at this point. He only has the gauntlet and the machine gun. But because I took the heavy, I was tanky enough, and I just didn't want to let him have it, so I committed to it and I went full forward, plus forward, you know. And now that I have the heavy, even though I get hit a little bit, you know, he connects with the pummel. After that, then I can switch away to the rocket and just kill him. And I will be low on health, yes, but I just gained yet another frag. And it was like, what, 3-4 frags within like the last half minute. So it's overall was worth it for me.
Picking up just a little bit of health there in between, and another one. Are you serious? The last 3 frags, like that shouldn't happen. Does that, in the top 10 plays of the week, can you just like put all 3 of those into 1 frag? Does that count, 40? I don't know, but maybe they should think about it. That was pretty nice.
I'll have a word with production. Peeker around the corner now is dramiS. Tried to hit him with the RAISY down in heavy armor with the gauntlet, but it wasn't enough. Good rail. RAISY down to 50 HP. dramiS flying through the telly. Little tickle is all he needs around the corner, but RAISY makes him pay with rockets just hanging on by a thread here. dramiS says, you know what, I just need this heavy. I still have time. 5 minutes. He doesn't need to rush anything necessarily, but he does need to keep the gas on here as he is just on the cusp of getting his 5th frag, but RAISY slowly stacking back up.
Yeah, they're at the heavy a little early, and you know, could use that mega, but probably not even in a position to fight 1 rail. And
not much happens here. He's basically rotating between items, trying to see if he can get some damage on me, maybe even a frag. And I'm just trying to survive, avoid him for as long as possible, trying to get small armors and stay 100 health with bubbles. But, you know, eventually he does catch me. And now we are, like, I'm forced to fight, and now we are fighting.
Another rail hits 2 points of health. Both of these guys bleeding out of so many different cuts. RAISY. Oh!
Alright, so here what happened. Just go back a little bit. We had a huge fight here, and I actually did so much damage, and it was very unlikely for me to do so much, especially after him starting the fight with hitting a rail on me. I only have 100 health here. He's fully stacked, as you can see. He picked up the previous mega, and he just picked up heavy, and he's here now in the better position. I'm out in the open, and he's gonna hit a rail on me. I am lucky enough to pick up the small armor before he hits me, but then he hits me, so the small armor is already gone. But instead of me being 10 health with, I don't know, 50 armor, I am 60 health with no armor, which is a little bit better because I wouldn't survive another rail hit either way, but like this I can survive, let's say, some more machine gun, some splash rockets, you know, because I have some health to work with. Whereas if I didn't have the health, it wouldn't really matter to have whatever how much armor, because some of it would still be reduced from my health, some of the incoming damage. So it was the better outcome for me to pick up the armor first and then get hit. But I'm still kind of fucked because, you know, I'm cornered here, no health, no armor. He's fully stacked. He's in the better position. He has all the weapons. I don't even have LG. I have a limited amount of rockets. But somehow, fuck if I know how, I just, you know, equalized it. And I guess Peeker helped a lot. I was hit again by something. I don't know what. Maybe like some triboard or rocket. I didn't see it. But the point is, I am 2 health. He's still fairly stacked. But I did a lot of damage with Peeker. And he's also gonna fall down here. Because of the way Peeker bounced her away. And so somehow, and I even connect the rail, somehow I equalized the situation. It was just so unlikely, really. I should have died, like, out of 100 situations, like 95 times at least, you know. But anyway, after all of that, I make this impossible situation happen. After all of that, I'm dumb enough to risk jumping across here towards Mega, thinking, oh, he will not hit the shot, don't worry about it, just go for the Mega, it will be yours, and then things are gonna be awesome, and, you know. So, I don't know why, I just didn't, like, walk around it, take the safe route, not show myself, not be visible from, you know, down where he is. But nope, instead, just here, take a shot, let's see if you're gonna hit it. Oh shit, you did hit it, I died, fuck. I don't know, sometimes I'm not just, I go full fuck it mode for some reason. Anyway, yep, I died, I was dumb. And let's have a look at my stupid reaction. I'm actually not like reacting to me dying or me like, I'm not reacting to like, oh, this was bullshit because of pings or whatever, I was already behind cover, blah blah blah. No, my face, my reaction was basically me getting mad at myself for making this decision of risking jumping across here. Like, my face is like, you stupid fuck. Alright, let's continue.
A beautiful snipe by dramiS as RAISY's going for that Mega. And he's still in this. It's still a 2-frag game.
Gonna catch him up the jump pad. A little bit of LG dramiS. Almost tries to get the float there. Misses with the vertical rail. Ooh, but the read's nice. Up the jump pad goes RAISY. Now he's stuck out in the upper courtyard. Peeker. A bit of a miss there. Not a huge deal as dramiS just wants to position properly for this Mega. And he's going to drop straight down to heavy afterwards. Has the snail trail available. Gonna have a nice stack to work with after these pickups. Needs to go straight back to hunting as we're.
You didn't see any expressions? Well, it was kind of subtle, but you could still see me, you know, shaking my head in a disappointing. Like, you could see that I was like kind of frustrated at myself for being so stupid.
And I feel like that's been a consistent theme throughout both of these games.
And again, that situation, I have no fucking clue how it was a mutual frag. But yeah, I made it happen somehow. I assume it has something to do with the pings and all. Like, you know, bullshit has happened on his end probably. But yeah, somehow.
Goes ahead and flips on that trail and just unable to kind of capitalize on those moments, 40. And I feel like that's been a consistent theme throughout both of
somehow this was a mutual frag.
It's gonna be a trade in a way, I guess.
Stacks weren't that different, to be fair, but I don't know, it's just, it was unlikely for me to survive, you know. Well, not survive, but like, to do this mutual frag outcome, to make it happen.
Nice little rocket damage there, but he does eat a rail, eats another one, needs to be careful, he can't get around the corner.
I think I hit 3 rails in a row on him. But out of those 3, 2 was for free because he didn't give a shit. He was like trying to run away for no reason and he had his back turned against me. And for free I could just trail him. Let me have a look again, actually, for those 3 rails. So I hit one on him here as I go up the jump pad. And then he just turns his back on me as I fall back down the jump pad to LG. and then I just get 2 more free rail shots on him, and I somehow hit both of them on a slash that is going zigzag.
Damage.
One here, one there. I'm not sure why he didn't really do anything about it, but whatever.
A little bit too loose, a little bit too fast, in my opinion. It flips him the bird, but the rockets won't land.
Alright, and then here again, like previously I explained, I on purpose try to force him to spawn on in that corner by the small armor, so I can have a free rail shot on him and potentially even get a spawn frag. And so you can see that instead of me just standing still on the mega, you know, waiting for it to spawn, which I knew that is gonna happen very soon in a few seconds, instead I went and tried to get a spawn frag, because why not? You know, it will benefit me more than just standing still on the mega and letting him roam around, get the small armor, go for rail, get the LG and blah blah blah, get stacked up and be ready to fight me. Instead, I just prevented that by railing him on the spawn. And then after that, he was trying to dodge some more, you know, he was trying to dodge my second rail, but I was like, you know, instead I'll just switch to the machine gun and finish him with that weapon, because what if I miss the rail? I'll give him a chance to escape. It's not worth it. If he tries to escape towards me, I'll switch to the LG and finish him off. If he keeps his distance and tries to dodge, I'm not gonna use the rail. I'll play it safe and make sure he dies, so I'll just stay with the machine gun, which is what I did. And it actually did end up gaining me a frag.
For you, Cooks and 35 HP off the spawn, taking a rail. RAISY trying to machine gun his way out of this one. 3 HP, and finally dramiS goes down.
And then here, even though I knew that Mega has spawned while I was fighting him, Heavy is more valuable, you know, for me in this situation to take. And so I decided not to go for the Mega, but instead drop down to Heavy. And again, I was familiar with this possibility of him spawning at the top of this staircase. And so on purpose, I dropped down here, trying to get yet another spawn frag on him and trying to prevent him from stealing the Heavy from me. And if I can do that, that means I get the Heavy, I get yet another frag on him, and I can still go back, for example, towards where I came from, and then just rocket jump up from the railgun and take the Mega as well, securing full control. But I think that's not exactly what happened. I think he stole Heavy, and then I somehow died even.
Down 10 to 5, and this is exploded.
I didn't die, did I?
It has. It's kind of, this is a big breakaway here for.
No, actually, well, it kind of did happen the way I said, except that he stole Heavy from me, so I'm not as stacked, but I did get the frag, and then I still could go back and take Mega, so it was worth it. But I just lost Heavy, which is fine, because it's 11 to 5, and he has 2 minutes.
Also, RAISY was incredibly low. I think a lot of players would have made.
And then here, I was listening out to where he was going. That's why I'm standing here at T, and I'm just not making any noise, but I'm like listening, you know, trying to follow where he's going based on all the noise he's making. And because I'm aware of Heavy timing, and I can also even hear it, if I'm standing here, you can actually hear Heavy spawning. And I know that he's not going to take it because I can hear him going away from it. I decided to drop down and just take it for free. You know, I didn't have to, but why not, you know? There was no resistance from him at all, so I did that. If he had stayed at Heavy and had taken it, you know, I would have been just standing at T for longer, you know, waiting for him to do something and then try to react to it. But because he just gave up Heavy for free, you know, I just took it. I didn't want him to get Heavy. Yes, I guess I have over-explained things. I tend to do that. Whenever I explain something, I tend to over-explain it. I start at the very beginning, and I'll talk a lot about what happens in between, up until I do, like, tell every little detail, and then finish the story. But like, you know, I explain things very detailed, and it might be a little bit annoying sometimes, and it might be like I talk a lot, and I could have like explained stuff like 2 times faster or whatever if I was just, you know, a little bit more on point. But I don't know, I just, for some reason my brain just wants me to do a full explanation of every little detail of what happened, so you get the full picture. I can't just say, oh, I decided to drop down to heavy and took it. I want to tell you why I decided to drop down and take it, and how it was a good decision or beneficial, or why I made this move and blah blah blah. You know, I just, that's just how my brain works. I hate doing half-assed work. If I do something, I want to do it properly. If I explain something, I want you to get the full picture, not just like some parts of the thing. Anyway, let's continue. Pretty heavy for the RAISY.
Decision, thinking they probably could have cleaned it up and stopped that rally, but it happened anyway. 6 frags deficit here for dramiS, and you know what can he do?
Basically the rest of the match is just me plus backing. Just it's GG at this point. There's not much point watching it back. So let's watch it back anyway, just so that we see the whole match. But I don't think there's gonna be a single thing worth pointing out anymore during this map, because you know, it's just GG already anyway. The main things to point out during this map was I had a very slow and bad start, but as soon as I managed to get control back, I used the control very well and managed to chain up quite a few frags, mainly thanks to my experience of knowing spawn frags, spawn locations, and forcing spawns and gaining spawn frags, and also deciding which item to go for and when to go for said item. But yeah, for some reason I usually have a bad start unless I'm like already warmed up and very cautiously playing. Unless those are the circumstances, I tend to have a slow start, and it takes me a couple of minutes and even sometimes frags for me to figure out how I should do what I should do. But once I do click in the head of wanting to, knowing what to do, then I do that kind of well, you know. I make a comeback, and then I play solid throughout the middle of the match, towards the end as well. I get the lead, I'm mostly in control, and then towards the end, yeah, he gains back the control, but he's kind of running out of time, and I'm still like having a huge lead, so it's whatever, GG already. Unless I have like a major fuck up, but I try not to. But yeah, it would be better if I didn't handicap myself in the beginning of matches, but can't really avoid it. It's not something I do on purpose. It's not because I want to entertain you guys, you know. I would prefer to, you know, not have to make a comeback and stuff like that, but it is what it is. Alrighty, so that was map 2. Let's go map 3.
It changes everything in this set.
Alright, so for this matchup, he was Galena and I was Visor. And this is a matchup that I actually am okay with, like I like it for this map. Because very often on this map people like to go Slash, Anarchy, some people even like Scalebearer. What else? Maybe Nyx. Some people like playing Nyx. But yeah, this matchup is actually like a kinda okay matchup. Like it's if I play against an Anarchy, I'm always gonna be nervous to encounter him because he's so fast and hard to predict and hard to react to his movement, and he's gonna have the injection for extra stack, and it's just gonna be difficult, you know, to deal with, to even prepare yourself to deal with him. Same goes when you play against a Scalebearer. Against the Nyx, it's mostly just annoying because she can hide really well on this map and plus back and then just surprise you with invis when you don't expect it, and just, you know, those are like matchups that you don't not necessarily enjoy playing. Not the right word. It's more like you play those matchups, but you have like an unease inside of you. Whereas when you play against a Galena as a Visor, you don't really have that, because you know that she's not gonna be able to hide or run away. She's not really gonna be able to surprise. And if you fight her, she's not gonna have like some kind of a bullshit movement that would not really be uh, something that, like, if he is playing as Galena, she's not gonna be able to wall jump away. She's not gonna be able to go in with. She's not gonna be able to air control if you bounce her up in the air with a rocket of yours. You know, so you know what you're up against. So you're more comfortable, you know. But if you play against an Anarchy, anything could happen, really, you know. He could like circle strafe, air control, bullshit speed at you at like 200 kilometers an hour, and by the time you react you are already like minus 100 stack and shit like that. Same with scale, you know. Nyx could just like pop out of invis inside of you and deal shit ton of damage. So, you know, playing against the Galena, I felt happy, you know, being in this matchup as a Visor on this map. To be fair, I did kind of let him get overheal a few times. I wasn't really cautious enough with clearing out the totems, but overall it was okay, you know. I'd rather play find the totems, like Orkis says, than be always be uneased about, oh, is there an Anarchy running at me at the moment, or can I just safely go across here or whatever, you know. So yeah, this matchup, I enjoyed it. I much prefer these chill matchups compared to when I have to play against like an Athena or on Deep Embrace or whatever. And playing as a Visor, I like it, you know, gaining the knowledge of what's happening on the map with the piercing sight is always useful. Of course you cannot see the totems, but you just have to be cautious enough to look around and find them and listen out for them, because sometimes you can hear them through walls, you know. If you're close enough to them you can hear them, their buzzing noise, and then just if you hear it, you kind of already know where it will be at, you know. Not necessarily pixel perfect, but you just know like, oh, I have to check out this corner or whatever the next time I'm in the area, you know. And if you can hear Galena, if you have in-game audio settings set up in a way that you hear the voice lines of characters when they use abilities, you can hear Galena throw down the totem. Same way as you hear the Visor pop the piercing sight, you know. So if you just listen out, very often you know exactly where to look for totems. It's just a question of when you're gonna be able to actually have the line of sight to destroy the totem, you know. So if I'm, let's say, up here at shotgun and I know that Galena is down at railgun and I hear her throw the totem, I don't know where it lands and I won't be hearing the totem buzzing from this range, but I know that it's gonna be somewhere around railgun, so it's probably going to be either in banana or down at the jump pad, or maybe she threw it at the tele exit by nailgun. So next time I'm going towards that area of the map, I'll just check these spots quickly and get rid of the totem. But throughout this match, like I said, dramiS got the overheal quite often, so I was just not cautious enough on listening out, paying attention to the totems to prevent that from happening. But if I was more focused on that, I probably could have done a better job, you know. But I think I was just more focused on staying alive, being in control as much as I could, instead of constantly just being, you know, totem hunting, being on a totem hunt.
And kind of leaves it.
I mean, both players definitely respecting the hell out of one another. dramiS finally gets himself a rail now. Or maybe he had one. I just hadn't used it yet. I don't know. But dramiS now on the Mega side. Heavy's up, but a few seconds delay there, 40. See how that one's going to play out. Still no first blood.
First blood indeed. The vision is used, though. opportunity for Rail here, just missing out on the angle. Mega's going to be the first item up, and it looks like RAISY using those vials. He wants that vision back up as soon as he can, as he casually makes his way back to the Mega. Plenty of time for the heavy. Up the jump pad goes dramiS. A lot of LG. The rocket's not doing the big damage dramiS needs. Is it going to be enough? The Rail 1 HP. RAISY did
Calculated, obviously.
I hate to keep on saying the same thing. I keep saying it's just what I am seeing. But there we go.
Alright, I just want to point out, it's not really visible on stream. And right now it's kind of quiet as well. But he did a very, like, little rocket jump from the railgun room through the telly across the nailgun room in order to be able to get there fast enough to have line of sight of me at shotgun. Normally, I would have been able to comfortably run away, you know, if he was just running instead of rocket jump running. But yeah, he did. Let me show again. Oh, I kill him here. He's coming at me here, but normally he's gonna like stop here and lose some momentum because he has to turn to run towards me. He can't air control like Anarchy, so he's gonna slow down here a little bit, which grants me enough time to go back the way I came from, go up the jump pad, and then run away towards the tri-bolt area. But he does a little rocket jump off of this door frame here. You'll see in a sec. I'll try to pause it or actually slow it down. I find where to. Yeah, so normally you can see that I'm already going up the jump pad here. He doesn't have line of sight of me here at the door, and he definitely did not go through the telly yet, so he cannot show up from here to rail me as I go up. And now here you will see that he's looking towards the heavy area, towards the jump pad, but not because he wants to rail me, but because he's looking towards the door frame of the railgun door. And then if the stream was higher, or the video was the volume of the video was higher, you would hear the rocket exploding, and it was like a tiny rocket boost that he did to get some speed coming out of the telly exit up here to jump across the nailgun room and catch me before I disappear behind the wall. So you can see normally I would have been behind cover by now, or rather I'm not behind cover by now, but like he wouldn't be here if he had not done the small speed boost rocket jump. This railgun, don't even worry about it. That was just, to be fair, a visual bug. He didn't shoot me through the wall there. He had line of sight on me.
I mean, I'd be kind of upset knowing that maybe my opponent walked away with 1 HP.
Oh, and because I used the piercing sight and I could see that he's on Mega, and I knew that I didn't take heavy, and he was up at nailgun, I knew that he didn't pick up the heavy, so I knew that I could go and take it for free now that he's taking Mega. So the items are synced, but he probably thinks that I have taken heavy way earlier than I have. So the next time heavy is gonna spawn, he's gonna be confused because he thought it was gonna be earlier than when it is actually.
Right, he was not in a great advantageous position for that fight. Right, he was firing rockets from down below.
Like here, I think he thinks heavy is about to spawn, and so that's why he's fighting me here.
RAISY kind of had that cover of the high ground advantage, and you know, a different situation. Like
he even drops down. There's 15 seconds until the heavy spawns because he didn't see that it was up when he killed me, and so obviously he didn't go for it. He went for Mega, but I didn't take it before I died. It was still up, so he's counting as if it has been taken back then, but it wasn't. So it's not gonna be up just yet for another 15 seconds. But he doesn't know that, so he's committing to it because he doesn't want me to have it. So he just drops down to it, even though it's not gonna have it, and it's a really bad position to be in because I have rockets and I can just spam downwards, and there's not much he can do about it, you know, unless I fuck up my rocket placement, crosshair placement with the rocket. He's gonna die.
an LG there could have changed the
but he was very lucky to hit that direct rocket on me. It's unlikely for that to hit. I don't even think he was aiming at me. I think he was aiming at the pillar, expecting me to get a lot of splash damage if I come towards the edge to shoot downwards. But I kind of walked into it as I was going around the pillar, so it hit me directly, and that was kind of lucky because now I'm not so confident anymore on fighting him. Whereas, you know, 1 second ago, I was very much confident in raining down some rockets. But I figured if I'm just gonna stop making noise and drop down behind him, he's not gonna expect it, because he's gonna look upwards towards this area, this half circle area between the two pillars here. But if I drop down behind this pillar, he's not gonna have visual on me, and if I don't make any noise, he's not gonna know that I'm gonna drop down from there. So I can potentially surprise him. It was kind of a risky move, like, you know, there's always a chance he's gonna expect it or look in a way that he's gonna notice me and react to it fast enough to kill me. But I was like, it's unlikely, you know, it's more likely that I'm gonna be able to drop down and surprise him and kill him before he can react to it, even though we are both very low on health. And if he does notice me, it's very likely that I'll die to whatever damage he does, like, you know, like a shotgun spread or lightning gun, or if he hits a rail on me, you know, like whatever he would do would kind of kill me, most likely. But I was like, if I just start walking here, I stopped making noise here. I started walking, and he was like unsure what's going on, like where am I gonna peek from and what's happening. And then all of a sudden I just dropped down behind him, and I even think you can see on his reaction, on his webcam, his reaction, that he was like, what the fuck, you know, like he wasn't expecting it at all.
Test this heavy. Both players so very low. Vision is going to be up soon. That can give him big advantage. And there it is. The totem somehow manages to stay alive and gives himself the second frag with dramiS off the spawn going in quick. But RAISY.
And you can even see here,
There it is.
I kill him, and there's 4 seconds until heavy. I don't stand on heavy. Instead, I go for the railgun room. Not because I'm like very greedy on taking the small armor and then go back for the heavy. Partially, yes, obviously you want to prevent him from getting the small armor, and it's even better if you get the small armor and the heavy on top of it. But like, it's mostly because if I position myself here, doesn't matter where he's coming from, I have a way to escape from him, unless he does something like he did before with the rocket jump boost, gaining him the speed, enough speed to catch me. Because this position here is actually really good for escaping. You have many options for whatever he does. If he comes from banana, you'll see him from far away. You'll be able to run away towards the shotgun jump pad. If he comes from the LG, you will see him and you'll be able to run towards the railgun room and either go through banana or drop down to machine gun, and then from there on you can even go towards mega or go through the telly towards tribal, whatever. You have options, you know. You can position yourself here even if you're low on health. By the time he shows up, you will either hear him or see him or both, and you'll have enough time and to react to it and be able to run away to safety. So it's even better if you can take the small armor and then the heavy. But if you can't, because he shows up and prevents you from doing it, you can always run away and go to safety, because you have the time, you know, and the room.
And pops the totem, somehow manages to stay alive and gives himself the second frag with dramiS off the spawn going in quick, but RAISY pushes him back.
And I just love RAISY's ability to stay calm and just play sneaky and just say, I'm gonna get.
Yeah. And here, you can see that my health is not full, and there is a bubble next to me. But I was worried if he comes up the stairs, because I know that he doesn't have an LG. He just spawned in at rocket, and he tried to fight me at rail, but I picked up the rail, and then he backed away towards mega. So he doesn't have a railgun. He doesn't have a lightning gun. And I assumed, because I just showed up at rail, he's not gonna try to get the weapon again there. Instead, he's gonna try to come towards LG. And if he does come towards LG and I make a lot of sound, I'll just scare him away. He's not gonna try to take the weapon because he doesn't have the right weapons to challenge taking the weapon. I'm not sure if that's easy to understand, but basically, if you are down at the staircase, the bottom of the staircase here at LG, and you don't have neither a railgun nor a lightning gun, you don't really want to show up with a rocket launcher in your hand because it's very unlikely that you're gonna be able to hit the guy who is standing up here where I am. And then meanwhile, the guy here is very likely that you're gonna hit you if he holds down the angle with a railgun or if he spams rocket launcher or whatever, you know. So ideally, you would only go for this lightning gun from the rocket side if your opponent is not here trying to prevent you from it, you know. And so I try to make it look like as if I'm not here, but at railgun still or whatever, wherever else, but just not here. So I decided not to pick up the small bubble next to me because I was worried he might hear it, and if he does hear it, I'm gonna scare him away. But if he doesn't get scared away and he tries to come and take it and I'm here, I might have a chance to get yet another frag on him, you know. And I was like, let's try to see if it works. It did not, you'll see in a sec, because he was cautious enough to spam some tribal to see if I'm there, and I was, and he got to know it, and so he didn't come for the LG, but the idea was to try to bait him into thinking that it's safe, and then for him to show up, and then I can ambush him. So that's why I didn't pick up the bubble, basically. Oh, actually, never mind. That was a different situation later on during the match. But here I try to do the same thing, basically just set up a trap at the weapon, trying to see if he comes for it or not. And I was standing there for a sec, listening out whether he comes for it or not, and he didn't. So I decided, okay, I have waited enough, he's not gonna come, but I do need the health, so I'm gonna pick up the bubble and then move on. But later on, you will see this situation with the tribal that I have explained a second ago. I'll stop again then and explain it, that you will see, you know. We'll get to it in a few minutes, I guess. Don't exactly know when it happened. I just remember it did.
RAISY's always kind of been sneaky, likes to set up those traps, and Totems haven't been doing as much as I thought they might be able to do in this matchup. Still, again, very, very early. RAISY low.
Alright, let me point out a few things in this fight, actually. So it started with me being at LG and then he appears behind me. I drop down here. I'm not sure if I knew that he was up at Nailgun or not, but I go up and then he's there and I'm railable, well, not railable, but I'm in a position where he can easily rail me, which he does. And my LG was just out of reach, so I couldn't even do chip damage to him before I got railed. And then after I get railed, I realize that he's gonna push me because he has enough stack and he doesn't want me to get away. So I'm not even gonna try to attempt to run away towards the back of the staircase. Instead, I'll just try to place some defensive rockets in hope of stopping him. You know, I knew that it was not very likely that I'm gonna be able to kill him, and it's not very likely that I'm gonna survive this situation, but I also knew that he's not gonna let me run away, and if I try to just maximize the damage output before I die, that's basically the best thing I can do. So instead I pushed forward a little bit and then I switched to the rocket and I landed a couple of nice ones, but at this point he's still not railable, but I am very low. But there's no way out for me from this position. I could either try to go out of this door, but I will definitely die, or go up the jump pad, and I will also definitely die. But what I also want to point out is that I slowed down here a little bit, making him like go back and forth between the two possibilities of either I'm going this way or that way. And then eventually, when I knew that when I go up the jump pad, I will have a free rail shot on him because I hear where he's at, because he's constantly making noise, you know, being fast, going back and forth, not to miss me when I show up. I know exactly where he is, so I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to go up the jump pad and try to rail him. why running away wasn't really worth it. I wasn't trailable because he could have run after me and he would have killed me. First of all, I'm pretty sure if I ran, he would have railed me, and then I would have been like 20 health or so, something like that. And then I would still be out in the open at the other small armor. And if he just chases me, he gets a free kill on me. And instead, I was hoping with a few decent rockets, I might be able to hold him off uh, long enough, or not necessarily long enough, but just like deal enough damage for him not to commit to the fight anymore and back away, you know, so that I can run away after. But my rockets, although were decent, I also fell down here, and there was not really a way for me to escape alive anymore. But like I explained, I still tried to maximize the damage output, so I just waited for the right opportunity by the jump pad to go up and try to rail him. And because he was constantly making noise, I could hear where he is at exactly. So I just waited for the right moment for him to be at the position where if I go up the jump pad, I have line of sight on him and I can rail him. And I was also kind of hoping that he's railable, but he wasn't. And, you know, I'm not sure if I was, like, how sure I was that he might be railable or not. I expected him to survive this shot, but I was also kind of hoping he won't. So I went for it, you know. High risk, high reward.
Be able to do in this matchup. Still,
And
again,
so I did rail him,
early
and he
RAISY
was,
low,
I
and
think,
there's
10
the
health or
rail. He's
so.
gonna tie it back up here, but drama's super low, and
And that is why, when he showed up at the railgun room, I knew that he's still gonna be 10 health, because I did so much damage in the previous fight, I knew he didn't have any armor to work with. And if he shows up after me railing him, when he has slightly enough health to survive the rail, but not have any left afterwards, I just don't want him to be able to stack up. So I just pushed him, hoping to get a frag on him with the starting machine gun. It was kind of risky, but not really at the same time. Like, you know, it was very likely for him to hit a lot of shots on me, like with the railgun if he holds down the angle, and with the rocket spam and all that. But at the same time, he was so weak. And, you know, you can get kills with the machine gun easily, you know, if you just hit your shots. So I just went for it. And, well, it was a mutual frag, I believe, yes.
is he gonna get it? Yep, but it'll be a trade.
And he does spawn on it, which means he has the rocket back and a railgun and the heavy. And I spawn on Mega, and I will have the Mega, but I won't really have any weapons. And if I dare to go for the rocket, there is a possibility that he's gonna hold down the angle from Banana, and I get railed. So I think I just waited a little bit to see where he's at on the map, and then I made my move after. A bit earlier, where dramiS was 15 sec too early for heavy. Was it planned by you not picking the heavy up before you jumped up and died, and going for the heavy afterwards, instead of which led dramiS to assume wrong with the heavy? So in that situation, I killed him, I survived with 1 health, heavy spawned in, but I was like, it would be better for me to go towards the railgun room, because there are bubbles there and I can heal up. And if he shows up from LG, I'll let him have the heavy, but at least I stay alive. If he shows up from Banana, I can run back towards the shotgun jump pad and just run away. But instead, he didn't know that I didn't pick up the heavy and just went for the kill. And that caused the heavy to be delayed. It wasn't something I did on purpose, it was more like I tried to play it safe. But even though I tried to play it safe, he made such an aggressive move with the rocket boost through the telly that even though I would have normally escaped, I could not in this particular instance because of how he approached the situation.
That were tied 3 apiece.
RAISY's able to get the Mega Spawn, dramiS will get the heavy. RAISY playing a little bit slower here. Doesn't want to take a lot of damage trying to secure rockets as he has no weaponry. Finally picking up rockets there. It's going to help him out just a little bit. The jump pad. Nice dodge from RAISY there.
Yeah, does he know when heavy is? A little early here, but he fires some rockets to bring it back. He is going to grab that. RAISY got the mega. Vision is up in just a moment. And more totems going down here. I don't know what RAISY has in mind, but a couple rockets come out. Missed that rail, unfortunately. That would have been a big one. From the bottom. Gets nailed with that rocket as well. dramiS just hasn't had a whole lot of these engagements in that heavy room that have gone in his favor.
Been unfortunate for sure as we're hitting the 4-minute mark. Securing the heavy again. Items traded between both players. Oh no, that could have been a bad jump pad to take. Put on the emergency brake there, and dramiS U-turn and got the hell out of there.
The sixth sense was the ESP was fired off. Like something's not right here.
Yep, nope.
Not much has happened for the last minute or so, so I'm not really stopping the video to point things out. I don't think anything... Oh, here's the situation I was talking about. So because I was standing at the pillar,
With a very nice rail. So
I can hear him be here and picking up the small armor, and I know that prior to this situation he became low on health. So even though he picks up the armor, he's still not very stacked. I am more stacked and more confident that if we take a fight, I'll win it. So I'm just trying to set up a trap for him to run into that is gonna give me such an advantage that I'm gonna win the fight and get a frag easily. And so I'm just setting up here. Like earlier, like I explained earlier, I was trying to bait him into coming up these stairs towards LG. And then I will just show up from around the corner and have a close to mid-range fight with him, not let him get away. And if it's an LG versus LG fight, I will win it because I have superior stack and my aim is not gonna be, you know, out-aimed too much. Even if it gets a little bit out-aimed, I still have enough stack to get the frag eventually. So I just decided to try to set up a trap here and see if he falls for it. But nope, he was actually very cautious about this whole situation and started to spam some tribal. The first spam didn't reach me and it didn't reveal my plan, but the second one he fired went a little further ahead and exploded next to me, and it dealt some damage, so he gained the information of me being there, and then he decided that it's not worth for him to go up the stairs because the position and the stack favors me, and so he decides to play it safe and falls back towards the mega side, and I just stay on heavy. And that was very smart of him to play it safe. I always really like this saying of better safe than sorry, you know? If something is like risky, be cautious about it, you know? If it's likely that your opponent is gonna be around the corner, don't just, you know, go for it anyway and like go full YOLO, like fuck it, you know? Be cautious about it, expect it, check the corners, check the hiding spots, spam some rockets, stuff like that, you know? Be prepared, expect things. So yeah, I really like this play from dramiS. Obviously for me it wasn't good because my plan got revealed and he didn't fall for it, but I respect his awareness. And just in general, I really like this better safe than sorry approach, you know, in real life as well. But especially in Quake, it's very useful. I am a little bit behind on chat, so let me catch up a little bit. Hey Malinky, let me see what you guys were saying. There should be a champion that can prevent you from using abilities, like in Apex. There's what's his name? Something with R, I think. What's his name? Can't remember. What is his name? Anyway, there's a character in a different game that has an ability that when he uses it on other characters can prevent them from using ability. And it is an interesting concept And yeah, I guess it could work in Quake as well. It will be a little bit weird though, especially in deathmatch where there are so many other people. Like if you focus one person in duel and prevent him from using ability, sure, yeah, that's good. But in deathmatch you can't really prevent everyone from using abilities, so is it really worth using your ability? Maybe. If it has like an aerial effect. I'm not sure. It's an interesting concept nonetheless. It could work, but I don't see it happening, you know. I would rather see characters like classic characters be implemented into the game, you know. For example, we've seen Klesk in Kill's trailer in Quake Champions, so I would love to have Klesk in Quake Champions, of course. And there's like icons for Sarge, Zero, Hunter, maybe some others. I think Uriel was in the making, maybe something like that, but it never happened, never got released. So yeah, I mean, there are plenty of ideas and plenty of characters and abilities that could have been, you know, and it would have been nice, maybe, probably, most likely, but I don't see it happening. The last character that has been introduced to the game was Aizen, I think, way back. I don't even know when, like 2018, 19, probably 19, don't know exactly, but like a long time ago. So yeah, I don't see it happening, but I wouldn't be against it if it's balanced properly. And I don't think it would. I don't know what I would say would work best for such a character being light, medium, or heavy. No idea. Depends on what other abilities the character would have. You know, as in passives. If it's like if he can, I don't know. Let's say walk along the run along the wall. Let's say that would be the passive of the character. Then it would give him mobility, and so for that maybe be a light character. But if it's like, I don't know, a tankier character, then she should be slower, I guess. I don't know, it's hard to say really until you actually test it out in the game and face off against the character and also play as the character. You won't really get enough knowledge about how well it would work balance wise. So don't know, but I'm not against the idea. Yeah, Revenant, yeah, that's the character I was talking about. Revenant in Apex Legends is a character that when you use his ability, he can prevent other characters from using their abilities. So yeah, that's... I would probably enjoy being a character like that and just in duel and just prevent my opponent from using their abilities, you know. Never have to deal with bull rushes, never have to deal with dire orbs. It would be awesome, actually. I would love that. Just plain Quake, you know, like no abilities allowed. I'm still trying to catch up on chat. Just give me a minute. Scale running on walls. Dude, no. Don't give them ideas. No. No. Hush. Lucius heavy? Probably. Probably. Alright, let's move on.
Where RAISY's biggest advantage is just being able to chip away at that. And
I also like what he did just now with dealing some self-damage. With the nail gun you can very efficiently deal some self-damage that is not a huge amount. And as Galena, it's actually not a bad idea to do that a few times, especially if you're about to pick up an item, because you're gonna get the stack back anyway, or at least most of the stack, and at the same time your ability is gonna be ready sooner, because Galena has the passive of whenever she picks up health, as in a bubble or a mega health, her cooldown is reduced on the ability. And so if you want to get to overheal fast, it can be sometimes beneficial, not always. I'm not saying you should always deal self damage and blah blah blah, but sometimes it's beneficial to pick up some bubbles. If you're on 100 health, just do some self damage with the nail gun and then pick up the bubble. It will reduce the cooldown on your ability, and then you'll get to use your ability faster and get to overheal faster. You know, it's a good tactic. So it's nice that, you know, these are things that I think
Crazy!
mostly only pros, maybe semi-pros are doing, you know, nail jumps and self-damage and blah blah blah, you know, like these things that I point out every now and then. Mostly only semi-pros to pros are doing these things, because it's not something you would normally think about, but is beneficial to do. So it's nice to see, you know, whenever, like on a higher skill game, during a higher skill game, you see little tricks, you know, tips and tricks like this.
Less effective for him. There's a mega pickup. Now, Heavy's there, but again, a delay from RAISY sitting on the top, thinking, I might have trap potential right here. But dramiS isn't going to fall for that bait.
Evil used to deny health bubbles on certain maps, even in Quake 3. Yeah, for example, something like that is actually very smart. I respect it, and it's probably not something you would see from casuals. Not trying to, you know, say anything bad about people that play for fun, but when, you know, tryhards like me do stuff like that, I think it's just amazing that we try to make the most of things, you know, and just get the most out of situations and get as much advantage as possible and handicap our opponents as much as possible. I will go back. I was not paying attention to this whole fight. I'll have another look, sorry. But yeah, just, you know, denying health bubbles. Even if you, like, for example, when you are 100 health, 100 armor, and there's a small armor next to you, you just deal some self-damage to deny your opponent from taking the small armor. You don't need it, because you are already at full default stack, but you can prevent him from getting it, so it's worth for you to deal some self-damage and getting it for yourself so that he doesn't get it. You know, it's something that is a very nice tactic. It doesn't always work out the way you want it, because maybe, let's say, you lose out on getting into position on time, or you just, I don't know, deal too much self damage and it's just not worth it in the long run or whatever. But like, sometimes when everything goes according to your plan and then you implement these little things into your game, and then they actually help a shit ton throughout the match, it's so nice, you know. And I appreciate when I see things like that happen, especially during competition, you know. Even when I come across something like that in ranked, I haven't played ranked in ages, man. It's impossible for me to find ranked matches in Quake anymore. I don't even have a rank. I'm unranked for months and I can't find a match. Whatever, point is, back when I was grinding ranked, every now and then I came across, you know, my opponents doing these little tricks and just neat things. I always appreciated it, you know. It's nice to see, even if it's being done against me, it's just something that I can respect, you know. Like earlier when dramiS was having enough awareness to prevent himself from walking into my trap, you know, it wasn't something that I'm happy about, because obviously I would have liked for my trap to work, but I respect that he was cautious enough, you know, not to walk into it. So I just wanted to point it out, because these are things that maybe not everyone notices during a match, you know. Most people that watches the match are, again, I'm not trying to bash anyone, but most people are casuals, and maybe they don't have the knowledge, the experience, or just the, you know, they just don't pay enough attention to notice these things. So that, you know, when these things happen, I like to point them out, share it with you, and then now you know better. Now you will, next time when you see it, now you will know better, you know, you will notice it yourself and all that. So it's just, I enjoy it. I enjoy these little neat tricks.
Almost pushes him off the map, but RAISY puts the beat on him and is able to get that.
Let me actually get back a little bit, sorry, because I wasn't paying attention to this fight. Alright, so here I have the control, I have overheal and also over armor, don't know what it's called, overstacked with armor, whatever. Point is, I jump across and I deal some damage with the rocket, and I am in a better position to rain downwards with the rockets. And so I want to take the fight because it's 3-3 and I want to have the advantage. I want to get the lead, and this is a favorable fight for me, so I'm committing to it.
Series is gone.
and I actually hit a railgun on him as I'm dropping down, and he doesn't retaliate it, which means that I'm not sure if I'm gonna pick up the heavy or just fight him immediately, but at this point I know that he's fucked. If I commit to this fight, there's no way for him to escape unless I do a major fuck up. So I railed him, I take the heavy even. I'm so fucking stacked and he has no armor. He does have the overheal, and I wasn't obviously aware of that at the time because I can't know unless I see 3 totems on the map as his opponent. I just hear him use the ability, and to me that just says that, oh, he wasn't full health, but now he's gonna be 100 health, but probably no armor because I did so much damage to him. But actually he has overheal, so he's gonna be a little bit more than 100 health, but still, you know, no armor. And I'm meanwhile fully stacked, and he's kind of cornered up here at the tele exit, so there's no way for him to survive this. So I'm fully committing to this fight, and I want to chase him down. I don't want to give him the ability to maybe run away across the nailgun platform and just escape through the LG. So I'm just going after him, and I'm just trying to hunt him down. I'm even using piercing sight, so I know exactly what to expect. For example, is it safe for me to go through the tele, or is he camping it with the rocket launcher? If he's camping it with the rocket launcher, maybe wait a few seconds so that he's second guessing himself whether I'm coming through the tele or not, and then go through the tele and surprise him or whatever. But point is, I'm like committing fully. I'm doing an all-in to this fight. I want to get this frag. I went through the tele, I received some damage, but I'm still very stacked and I know that he's not. So I decide, even though this is a play that you would normally never really do, because you just don't ever want to drop down into someone's LG and then get levitated, and he's gonna hit like 90% LG on you, and meanwhile you're gonna struggle to hit him back because first of all the angle is uncomfortable, second of all he's dealing knockback on you, so you will have to adjust your aim while he's just having to basically just hold down fire button. So you're obviously gonna receive a lot more damage in this situation if you are the one dropping down than him. But because I was so much more stacked, I was like, I don't care that I'm gonna receive a lot of damage. I want this frag, I want to take the lead in this match. So I'm gonna fully commit, drop down into his LG. It does not matter that it's gonna hurt like hell, but at the same time, I drop down here instead of here because it was the safer approach. If I drop down here, his knockdown is gonna actually push me out of the map and I will fall out of the map and die. And so instead, I decided to fall down here, which means I'm still gonna be knocked back a little bit, like I'm gonna be pushed back by his LG's knockback, and I'm still gonna receive a shit ton of damage, but I'm not gonna fall out of the map, and I'm gonna take this LG versus LG fight, even if it's not really favorable for me, damage output wise, because I'm stacked enough, and I just want to get this kill, and that's what happened. That is why I did this. I didn't just brainlessly drop down onto his LG. I actually did this kind of calculated on purpose. And even like this, I almost fell out and almost died. That's how unfavorable this situation was, dropping down into his LG from there. But it was still good enough for me to get the kill. So it was worth it, because now I have 2 bubbles here, I have the small armor, and I'm in a position where wherever he comes at me from, I can run away towards the other way. You know, so it was worth it, and I finally have the lead.
Off the map, but RAISY puts the beat on him and is able to get that frag.
And as you can see, he's trying to catch me, come towards me, because he knows that he did a lot of damage and I'm probably not very stacked. But I'm prepared for it. I'm just holding down the angle, and as he comes towards me, I just rail him, fall back. If he keeps committing and trying to come towards me, I rail him again. And even though I railed him twice here, and I know he's like fucked, I'm still not giving him the chance to deal some additional chip damage before he dies, and I just use this pillar in front of me to hide behind while my railgun reloads and I can switch away from it.
You think that was pretty nice?
And so, if I was just, let's say, after hitting him here, if I had stood here, right where I am right now, I would be shot by his rocket. as you can see, it exploded where I was. So instead, after I rail him, I just fall back a little bit, avoid getting the rocket to the face, stop again for a sec, see if he shows up, just hold down the angle, he shows up again, I rail him again, but instead of just standing here in the door, out in the open, I decide not to give him the free damage of me just standing here waiting for my railgun to reload. Instead, I'm just gonna fall back some more while it reloads and fall behind this pillar, prevent him from having line of sight on me and dealing some more machine gun damage. It wasn't necessary, but it was the safer approach. And yeah, I didn't get the kill here because he also fell back. But I didn't mind it because I'm in the lead and I didn't die, so it was worth it. And then here, I decide to cut him off because I expected him either to stay on the middle ground and go towards the small armor area and then go for Mega, but there was also the possibility of him dropping down from Banana to these 2 health bubbles because I railed him twice, so he's very low on health, so he obviously wants to stack up. And I'm also not very healthy, so he might think that I'm not gonna be risking it to show myself here. But I decided I'm stacked enough to just have a peek at it, see if I can kill him. And I couldn't, I actually didn't even hit him once with my LG. But then he's in this corner here, and he might not be railable. At this point I don't actually know. I mean, yes, I know now, I can see it here, but I mean, like, during the match, I don't think I knew whether he was railable or not, but I was like, he's down in this corner, I'm just gonna hold it down with the railgun. If he tries to cross here and go for Mega, I'll have the opportunity to rail him. I either will, or I will miss my shot. Doesn't matter. If I hit it, he might die, and that's great, and then I can go for the Mega. Or if I hit it but he survives, I can still maybe try to machine gun him down or whatever, just push him a little bit with my LG and finish him off. And if I miss my shot, it's still fine because I can just fall back, go up the jump pad from where I dropped down from, and then go back to heavy and take it, you know. So either way, I was safe. I was cool with being in this situation, and I just gave it a shot, see what happens, you know. It actually did turn out that I got the frag. And funny thing is, I think he wasn't actually railable, was he? No, he wasn't railable at this point after picking up those 2 health bubbles. But I switched away from my railgun because I tried to bait him out. I switched away from the railgun because if I'm on the railgun, he's gonna try to bait a shot out of me. He's not gonna like go across, you know, left to right, just casually, because he's like, oh shit, he's holding the angle with the railgun, let me like shoulder peek, you know, jiggle a little bit, try to avoid it. And so I switch away from the railgun to the LG so that he thinks now is the time to go across, but then I switch back immediately to the railgun and then hit the shot. And because I was also firing with the LG a little bit, and I managed to hit 2 shots, which dealt 12 damage, it made him just be railable. If I had not switched to the LG, he would not have been railable. But like I said, during the match I wasn't aware of this, it was just like something that happened that way. But yeah, now looking back at it, it was only doable, this kill only happened because I tickled him with the LG before I switched back to the railgun to finish him off. So that's funny to see. Also, he got stuck on this pillar. I don't think I would have had the time to fire at him because I was still like switching weapons, but he got stuck, so I still had the time to shoot at him. So yeah, I get the kill and then take the Mega.
We saw RAISY making what I would say some kind of risky jumps over the top, but looking for his opponent.
Right here, I missed the rail shot on him, and instead of trying to switch to LG and fight him, nailgun versus LG here, I decided to just immediately drop down because I saw where he was, and I also knew that heavy is up, so I just dropped down to see if I can prevent him from getting it. If he drops down now, he's gonna drop down into my LG. I can still fall back and go up the jump pad into safety, or maybe I even get the kill as he drops down. Like earlier when I was dropping down, he did a shit ton of damage. You know, it could happen the same way, just, you know, in my favor now. Or he's not gonna drop down and I get the heavy for free and I stay in control.
Those shots, feeling confident like
And so yeah, he did show up to have a little bit of an LG versus LG, but he didn't even try to drop down because I was already in a position preventing him from doing that. If he did do that, he would have died because I would have been able to levitate him in the air with my LG and then take the heavy during it. So me dropping down after this missed rail here actually got me the heavy. If I had stayed up here, then he would have had the possibility to drop down and take the heavy for free, and it was just something that would have not been necessary. Like here, I don't need the frag, I don't need to kill him, I just should stay in control because that's gonna be more beneficial for me in the long run. If I, you know, let him get the heavy here because I'm too greedy and I want to go for the kill, and instead of me dropping down and taking the heavy, I stay on the high ground and try to LG versus LG, and then he just backs away out of sight even and drops down, takes heavy, then he's gonna be in control, or he's gonna have the chance to be in control, like have the chance to fight for next mega even. So in the long run, that wouldn't have been the better option. So that's why at this moment I decided to drop down immediately towards heavy instead of fighting him up here. It doesn't even matter whether I hit the shot with the railgun here or not. The only thing that matters is that I can see that he's here, and if I drop down now, I'll have the better position for the heavy. And so that's what I decided on. And then here, I receive a shit ton of damage going up the jump pad, but at the same time, I try to take my time and be so calm and slow and accurate with my rail shot, and I still fucking missed. And I can't even blame it on ping or anything. It's just me being bad. I don't know. Sometimes I'm really good with the railgun, and then there are other times like this one where I'm just like brain fart. Oh well. Okay, and then here, I think, after receiving so much damage, hey Sib, by the way, after receiving so much damage going up the jump pad, he probably thought that I'm gonna fall back towards Mega Side, heal up on small armor and bubbles and blah blah blah, but instead, I know that he's also weak because I'm in control, and I have also dealt some damage to him. Instead, I just decide, okay, why not just jump into his face and surprise him here? He might not expect it, and that's exactly what happened. I think he thought that I'm gonna be towards the Mega Side instead of just, hello, here I am, you're dead, bam. And now I even get to destroy all his totems, and this is the point where I realized I just destroyed 3 totems. How long has he been having overheal for? I don't think I really paid attention too much to the totems during this match. Probably not a very good thing to do against the Galena in a duel match, but luckily for me it wasn't too much of a worry in the end. Oh, and here, I love this angle. Again, I just want to talk about it a little bit. Maybe zoom made me fail. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't have the same sensitivity for my regular sense compared to my zoom sense. My zoom sense is a little bit slower than my regular sense, so for LG fights, it's great, you know. You can be more accurate, more precise. You don't go over the target with your crosshair so much because your sense is slower. But with railgun, it's like it feels like as if you're dragging your mouse through mud, basically. Anyway, yeah, I missed that shot. Fuck that. Shouldn't have zoomed, or should have used LG or whatever. Anyway, I want to talk about this angle here. Very often, when I'm out of control, I know that my opponent is gonna go for Mega to take it, I go out here towards the banana entrance or exit or whatever, just, you know, this doorway, and here whether my opponent is taking the jump pad towards LG or not. If my opponent is taking the jump pad, then I go out here and have a free rail angle on him as he is going towards LG, you know. I can maybe even rail him when he takes like the small armor here at Mega. If he doesn't go up the jump pad, obviously that means I'm not gonna hear the jump pad sound. So I'm just gonna aim downwards towards the double bubble and this exit where I am at the moment. Actually go back slightly. So yeah, if my opponent is on Mega, he can do 3 things. Well, 4. He can also rocket jump up, but why would he do that? Whatever. Point is, there are 3 ways to go towards. Either he can exit through this door here by the double bubble and maybe go up the jump pad by machine gun, or he can go out here this doorway and go through the telly and be a tri-bolt and try to attack heavy from above, or he goes up the jump pad towards the small armor and then LG stairs, or maybe he goes up towards rocket or whatever. Point is, if he takes the jump pad, you're gonna hear it if you're standing up here by the banana exit. And if you hear the jump pad, all you have to do is to just slightly go towards the small armor, and then you'll have a rail angle on your opponent. And so, because I'm familiar with this, because very often when I'm out of control, I also do this move, and I hold down the angle, hoping for a free rail hit on my opponent, equalize the stats. Because I do that so often, I expected him to try to do it against me, and I was prepared for it. And I was like, I'm gonna still give him the chance to rail me, but he's gonna be probably railed back as well, which is gonna benefit me because I have more stack to work with. So right as I go up here, you'll see that I immediately turns towards that angle and I have my railgun ready to fire. I don't hear him, I don't see him, I just expect it because I'm familiar with this outcome, because I've been in this situation so many times on both ends, you know. And yeah, there are occasions when it doesn't happen like that and he doesn't show up and I'm just looking that way with my railgun out and nothing happens. But on this instance, he was there holding down the angle and we managed to trade, you know, and it was beneficial for me.
Knows exactly where his opponent is, means he's going to be able to grab that mega, maybe even bait a little bit for some tribal.
So you can see I go up here, I immediately turn to the left, switch to the railgun, and I'm just ready for that angle.
Damage is not going to matter. This 3 frag lead has to be feeling real.
And it was worth it for me. I even have a small armor to stack up with, and look at his health, 75, and meanwhile I'm like 210. So
Real good for it.
And it's all because it's not even because I'm like so great, I expect everything. It's just I have played the game so much that I have experienced this situation so many times that this time I was just ready for it, you know.
Crazy.
Yeah, not bad.
But it's not like I'm wall hacking. But I am Visor and I have used the piercing sight prior to that. But you know, it's not because it's just something that comes with experience by playing the game so much and experiencing this situation so many times that by now I'm like ready, you know. I just know that it's possible that it happens. And like I said earlier, I really like the better safe than sorry mindset approach to everything, you know, real life and competing in games. So I'm like, if there is a chance that this situation might happen, let's be ready. Better safe than sorry, you know. And that's what happened.
Not at all here. They might have a huge fight over the heavy. Both players with rail up close, and now the shotgun from dramiS. As he says, you know what, this one...
I was a little bit zoned out. I don't know how I died. Oh, actually, I know how I died. My shotgun again betrayed me, I think. I just want to have a look again. I really wasn't looking. I was looking, but I wasn't watching. Whatever. Yeah, so I kind of shot through him there, though. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Playback speed. Let's see the trail. Go like between his legs or whatever. Alright. Plausible. Alright, anyway. I think, yeah. So what happened here, I remember this situation. I was a little bit frustrated and annoyed because what happened, you don't see it from spectator view, but he went through my body on my screen. Again, this is a high ping match, so I'm from EU, but as you can see down here, I'm playing on an NA server, so the pings are quite big, you know, the difference between my ping and his ping and my ping to the server and blah blah blah. You know, it's a fucked up ping situation. And so very often in this game, it can happen that if you go towards something that you shouldn't go through, but on your screen you go past it, but the game thinks, wait, hold on, according to the server, you didn't go past him, you kind of like went against him, so you shouldn't have gone through him. So I'm gonna pull you back here, and now you're again in front of him. It's like, you know, it's fucked up a little bit. It's mostly because of pings, I think. It's just, I think the server is not in sync with the client, and so on my side, what I saw is that I went like around him, past him, but the server was like, no, you shouldn't be able to do that because characters cannot go through each other unless they are teammates or whatever. Point is, you shouldn't be able to go through each other in this matchup or whatever, in duel. So let me teleport you back in front of him, but it's gonna be a little bit delayed because like it needs time for the server and the client to realize what's going on and react to it and blah blah blah. And so I think I went through him here, and then the server teleported me back, and then I was like totally disoriented and confused on what the fuck is happening, because I went through his body and I don't know where to aim anymore and what's going on, and now I'm like getting pulled back by the server. I'm not even like moving, but like my character is teleported. It's like, it's fucked up. And so yeah, I was completely clueless what was going on.
Both players with rail up close, and now the shotgun from dramiS.
Yeah, it happens very often, you know, on especially on high ping matches. Oh yeah, I can do the frame by frame. Let's have a look actually in this slow-mo thingy. Oh. Look at my face. I'm like, what the fuck, game? Are you fucking kidding me? For real? Are you for real? What is this bullshit? This should never happen. Come on, go. Come on, YouTube. Do it. Do it. Go. Pressing it. No, not yet, not yet. It's way too slow, come on. Frame by frame was a bad idea for this. It's still before this situation. It will happen in a second. You can see that I go through his body, even in spectator, I go through his body, and then I have to do a full 180 because, you know, I realize what happened and I try to react to it. So because I went through him, I have to do a 180 in order to face towards him again. You'll see in a sec, I'll go frame by frame. Yeah, so here we are in this situation. Heavy is up at this point in time. It is up. So it's not about to spawn. It's already up. And I'm like standing on it, really. I think I'm closer to it than he is at the moment. And then, what the fuck? Look at his stack, actually. I have not noticed it before, but look at his stack. He picks it up from here, even though I'm closer to it. What the fuck? Come on, game. What the fuck? So, not only he steals the heavy from a mile away, that should have been mine, and he's not even remotely close to it, and then he gets 100 stack for free. I even go through his body. I get disoriented. Look at the inside of his head. Wait, hold on, wrong button. I go through his body. I get disoriented. I got robbed of my stack. I have to turn around 180. I'm still not facing him because he like molded through me to my side or whatever. I don't even know at this point. And then I get like a direct rocket to my face or something, or a shotgun, I don't know. It deals a shit ton of damage. And I still don't fucking know how to react to it. And by the time I do, like this situation is already like, I'm dead here. There's no way for me to do much, really. Oh man. Alright, sometimes I think it's only fair that I get frustrated every now and then about the game, you know? Especially considering that this was during a QPL match, you know? A QPL professional match. There's money on the line, and I'm forced to play under these conditions of EU versus NA, hyping bullshittery. Steals the heavy from me, from a mile away, that should have been mine. I go through his body, but when I turn around he's not there because he gets teleported next to me, and then he deals like a point blank shotgun on me or whatever, and I just fucking die. And this is during QPL, you know, the most important match that I can have at the moment. Yeah, I tend to get frustrated every now and then with the game, but I think it's only fair considering all this. Oh well, whatever. Oh, silly Quake, you.
Trying to contest for this next mega.
I don't even think I can analyze the rest of this. I'm just like, my brain just got fried.
On his opponent. Still 2 frags, decent, but not anything that can let you throw away your strategy and throw caution into the wind. Pulls out that LG as he drops down, and RAISY is going to be forced back. So when he's had the stack and he's been in a good position, he's had more luck here. RAISY, I think he's now tempered back the fire a little bit, 40. You know, he's like, okay, I need to slow it down just a little bit. Now that he got that 3rd frag back, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know, dramiS doesn't have a lot of time with that push.
I wasn't paying attention, sorry, let me go back, because I think if it was the frag I'm thinking of, we missed something that I want to talk about, so let me just look a little. Yeah, so here, I think I was not necessarily tilted, but I was still annoyed by the fact that I was robbed and I got killed as well. So I think I was a little bit overly aggressive at this heavy, so I suffered a lot of damage and I still didn't get the control. But then after that, because I was so aggressive and I forced myself onto the LG, I have the weapon. Excuse me, had to burp. So I have the weapon, I have an LG, and I'm at rocket at this point, and I'm like trying to figure out a way in order to get another frag on him, because there's still 3 minutes left and I only have a 2 frag lead, but I'm not in control, so there is a very good chance of him making a comeback if I don't do something to prevent it. So what I do here, actually, is to start walking again, not make any noise. And I walk up here, and I stop here, and I just listen out for what he does. And luckily for me, he actually decides to go out here, be out in the open, and then tries to come towards the rocket. But by then, I'm already peeking out from around this pillar, not pillar, the door frame, and I'm just LGing the shit out of him. And by the time he reacts to it, I'm already like halfway through his stack, and I still have a lot left for myself as well, so even if he tries to fight back, I'll just kill him anyway. So basically what allowed me to get this frag is me slowing down here, positioning myself to the right place in order to have an ambush attack on him, and also a little bit of luck of him being here, going towards where I want him to go towards. If he dropped down here and went somewhere else, or if he went towards the small armor here, I wouldn't have had the chance to kill him. But at the same time, he wouldn't have known that I am here, because again, I'm walking, he has no idea, he hasn't heard me, he hasn't seen me, he doesn't know I'm exactly here. So even if he goes like this way, I can just come out here and he never knows, and I just avoid him for another 30 seconds or so. And if he drops down to Mega, same thing. I just avoid him for another 30 seconds. But if he comes here, I'm ready to set up the trap and ambush him and surprise him and get the frag on him. And that's what I do. And it was actually something that I anticipated for and did on purpose, not just like by chance, but I actually was prepared to do this move. And I'm very happy that it worked out. I think I even mentioned this situation in the post-match interview, that you know, during this match, not just this map, but this whole match, this all 3 maps, this whole matchup, I felt like I wasn't really in control most of the time, but I was playing slow and calculated, and I set up traps, and very often they worked against him. He wasn't cautious enough to avoid them. Sometimes he was, and for example, the tribal spam at LG prevented him from walking into my trap, but that was just that one trap, and then this one worked. So, you know, I was actually very happy with the outcome of this trap.
RAISY, I think he's now tempered back the fire a little bit, 40. You know, he's like, okay, I need to slow it down just a little.
And this frag basically kind of sealed the deal for this map, because now there's only less than 3 minutes left. I have 3 frag lead. He just spawns in, has nothing to work with. Mega is about to spawn. I think I'm even gonna be able to pick it up to not be railable and not be low on stack anymore. And by the time he's gonna have enough stack and the right weapons, he's just gonna run out of time. And I'm obviously gonna play plus back, not like go at him to give him the opportunity to kill me and make a comeback. So this frag, this trap that I set up actually kind of sealed the deal for this map to make me win it.
Now that he got that 3rd frag back, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just I don't know. dramiS doesn't have a lot of time, but that push was not in his favor. Just getting absolutely melted down by that LG. Clean heavy pickup here, but RAISY's playing nice and slow, as we've seen. Not afraid to slow everything down, walk around the map, take his time, and just get an exact beat on where you're at before he, you know, figures out whether he wants to attack, ambush you, go for an item. I mean, this is firmly in RAISY's grasp. 240 left on the earth.
Alright, I'm not sure how much you can hear it, what the commentators are saying, because I have it quite low on volume. But let me rewind a little bit, and I'll make it louder, and just listen to what he says, because that's exactly what I explained a couple of seconds ago. And from spectators, you can see it, but that was what was also going through my head as I was playing. And so just have a listen. I'm gonna go back here, make it louder. I'm not gonna talk for a little bit, just listen what he says, and that's exactly what happened. And how it went down also in my head, how I planned it.
RAISY, I think he's now tempered back the fire a little bit, 40. You know, he's like, okay, I need to slow it down just a little bit. Now that he got that 3rd frag back, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just I don't know. dramiS doesn't have a lot of time, but that push was not in his favor. Just getting absolutely melted down by that LG. Clean heavy pickup here, but RAISY's playing nice and slow, as we've seen. Not afraid to slow everything down, walk around the map, take his time, and just get an exact beat on where you're at before he, you know, figures out whether he wants to attack, ambush you, go for an item. I mean, this is firmly in RAISY's grasp. 240 left on the, or excuse me, 220 left on the clock. 3 frag lead.
Alright, so everything he said is exactly how I explained it and what was going through my head as I was doing it. So yeah, kudos to him for understanding what happened and why it happened the way it happened.
Yeah, oh my gosh. dramiS goes out to the middle area. He's like, I've got a full stack, let's go, boys. And then gets, you know, hit with the rail right on the dome. As he goes back up, RAISY, that immediately means he's going to go aggressive. And look at how low both these players are yet again. But RAISY seems to be completely comfortable still fighting in that situation. dramiS knowing the time's ticking away. This is becoming more and more of a burden for him.
Here again, you'll see another example of me setting up a trap. I knew that Mega was about to spawn, and it has spawned before he drops down. That's why he dropped down, because he could see that it's up. Oh, I want it, he's thinking. And so he drops down to get it. But he is not cautious enough to see whether it's safe to drop down or not. And because I'm in between him and the Mega, I can take it mid-fight. As you can see, I'm just picking it up as he's dropping down into my LG. But by the time I pick it up, I'm already dealing above 70 damage or so. And so what I did just a few seconds before, here, I arrived to the right location, and then I just started walking. I started not making any noise, and I could hear him above me running around here picking up stuff like the small armor, but I don't care. I'm not making noise. I'm not trying to prevent him from dropping down. On the contrary, I would like for him to drop down into my LG because, you know, it's gonna be beneficial for me and there's no way for him to run away. And I know that I'm stacked, and I know that he is not as stacked, or maybe he will be about as stacked, but because the situation favors me, it doesn't matter that our stacks are about the same, because I'll be able to have the advantage over him in this situation. And so I'm just gonna be better off taking this fight. So I actually want him to commit, which would mean that he drops down. And how do I achieve him to do that? Achieve that he does that? Is by not making any noise and making him think that it's his mega and it's safe to drop down. So I'm just gonna start walking here. I'm switching away from the railgun and an LG, a weapon that doesn't make a noise when you're holding it, and I'll just wait for the right opportunity. And as you can see, Mega just spawns now, and I can obviously hear it, it's right behind me, but I'm not going for it. I'm not trying to pick it up and then just run away. I'm trying to set up a trap. I want to get a kill if possible. If not, that's fine. I'm still, you know, gonna win the match because I'm in the lead. There's not much time left, but I can go for another frag, so why not, you know? And so I just try to be in a position where he doesn't see me, but he sees the mega, so he's gonna go for it, and then I show up and prevent him from getting the mega, and at the same time getting it myself and dealing a lot of damage to him. And by the time he reacts to it, you can see the first time he fires, by then I'm dealing over 100 damage already, and I have picked up the mega. And then he's dead. Yes, he did like some damage to me, but he did die, and the time is running out, and so it was worth it, well worth it for me to do this. It might not be worth it all the time, every time, but in this instance it worked out like I planned it, so it was worth it. If he was a little bit more cautious and he has noticed me before dropping down, like he checked the corners before dropping down and like spammed some rockets, maybe things would have turned out differently, but he walked right into it. To be fair, at this point it was kind of GG anyway, thanks to the previous frag, but for me it was nice to get one additional frag, and for him it was kind of already you know, it was a kind of already whatever at this point. But I just wanted to explain why the way this situation worked and how it ended up happening.
A second time he's caught, unfortunately, with that LG 40. Yeah.
And here, yet another thing that sometimes I do is when I already have the weapon, the LG, and I know that my opponent does not, I go up these stairs, and if you go against the wall on the left here, he's not gonna see you as he goes through the tele exit, but he's gonna see the weapon, and if he sees the weapon, that means that it's not being picked up. It has not been picked up in the last 5 seconds, because if I pick up a weapon, it's gonna disappear and then not be reappearing for another 5 seconds. So I on purpose don't pick it up and then just make him believe that I'm not here, because if I was here I would probably pick it up as I go up the stairs, you know, but I'm making sure that I'm going past it on the left, not picking it up, and setting up yet another trap for him to run into, thinking that it's safe for him to go for the LG, when it's not. And so as soon as he shows up, I even back away towards the LG to pick it up mid-fight, so he doesn't have it to use against me during the fight. You know, if I wasn't picking it up from him, he could potentially take it during the fight and use it against me. But in order to prevent that, while I'm fighting him, I'm backing away into it. Similarly to how I backed up into the Mega in that situation just a second ago. You know, same thing again, just setting up a trap, making him believe that it's safe to come towards the said item, and then I show up and put myself in between him and the item, preventing him from getting it. And while I'm fighting him, I'm getting the item myself. Basically the same exact thing happened, but just at Mega earlier. And then, of course, I go for the gauntlet. Why wouldn't I go for the gauntlet? I'm RAISY. I go for the gauntlet. Obviously, I go for the gauntlet.
Okay, there it is. We got the gauntlet. He's like, how dare you walk on top of my head? But I was going to say, RAISY's so good at just hugging close walls and just blasting you with LG at the last second to carry you into the heavens. Like, that is a signature RAISY play.
Yeah, and that
Here the rocket jump was not for funds, actually. It was a cautious play from me. Let me explain. I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't really paying too much attention at the moment. I'm not sure if he spawned on the railgun or at rocket, but there might have been a chance he spawns on rocket, and if he does, he could potentially come towards the small armor here and just hug the wall and set up a trap for me to run into as I go down these stairs when I try to go for the next rotation of the mega health. And so in order to avoid running into a rocket trap, I decide to rocket jump over here because I have a lot of stack and I could land here at mega, so which I know will spawn soon. So even if he is here and he wants to surprise me with a trap, with a rocket launcher, close range trap, I can just avoid it, go above it, and then land on the other side here. And even if he tries to fight me here, I could back away into the mega that is about to spawn. You know, so it was the safe play to do. It wasn't something flashy or just something I did for the lols. It was actually something I did on purpose in order to play it safe and avoid running into a trap. I know that it wasn't like 100% that it's gonna be a trap here, but there was a chance. And that, like I explained earlier, I really like the better safe than sorry approach. So I figured if there is a chance that there might be a trap here, better safe than sorry, let's avoid it, make sure, you know. And so that's what I did. And yeah, it turned out he wasn't there, he wasn't setting up a trap or anything like that, but it doesn't matter because I didn't lose too much stack and I got to the mega health safely and I got it, and then, you know, it was all good. So it was worth it for me to approach this situation like this. If I was just, you know, saying like, fuck it, let's just go for it anyway, and I don't do the rocket jump, but just like run towards it, and then he does happen to be here, I could have died. He could have gotten a frag. And yeah, at this point in this matchup, it wouldn't have mattered too much because I have such a lead and the time is running out. But let's say if it was like earlier during the match and it was like a make or break situation where if I do run into his trap and I do die, I lose the match, then yeah, this would be the safer approach, you know, to make sure that you're not gonna die. And because I just killed him earlier, like a few seconds ago, I know for a fact he does not have an LG, so he's not gonna be able to pin me in the air. The only thing he can do is hit a mid-air rocket on me, for example, you know. But even if it does happen, which is very, very fucking unlikely, I'm still healthy enough to tank it and land on Mega, you know. So I decided to do it like that. But like I said, here in this particular matchup, at this point during the match, it didn't really have too much influence or whatever. Like, it didn't really count for much that I did this. But if it was a different situation, like let's say overtime in a match, and there was a chance that he's here, and he was actually here, would have been kind of like high risk, high rewards for me to go and just bolt it towards the mega health, because I could have run into his trap and could have died. You know? So for that, it would be useful to do this approach with the rocket jumping.
Signature RAISY play.
Yeah, and that is going to be a signature RAISY win, 3-0 on that one. And we mentioned earlier that he's won.
I also really like this jump here. When you go up this jump pad, if you press the directional keys towards this ledge here, you can actually land on it. It does not look like as if you're landing in the window, but there's like a pixel you can land on the edge here, and then you can make it up here without having to be like Nyx with a wall jump or Doom double jump or whatever, you know. You don't really have to do anything. You can do it with any champion. You just have to press the right directional keys, like left, depending on which way you're facing as you go up the jump pad. But basically you just wanna press the right directional keys to go towards this ledge, and then you can land on it. And the way you do it is, as soon as you go up the jump pad, you start pressing the right keys. So for me, for example, for me, because I was, I was looking towards, get there in a second, cue elevator music. Right, so I was looking towards the small armor as I go up, so I have to press left and backwards, right? Because that's where the ledge is gonna be compared to where I'm looking. So as I go up, I'm pressing left and backwards, as soon as I start going up the jump pad, and that is gonna give me enough momentum towards the right direction to be able to land on the side of the ledge.
Earlier that he's 1-1 in season
And that's
standings.
it. And now, because I did that, I get yet another frag. Whereas if I had landed on the small armor side after going up the jump pad, he would have been able to escape through this door. But I didn't let him because I landed in the ledge right in front of him, you know. Let me go back just one more time to show it from start to finish.
3-0 on that one, and we mentioned
Up the jump pad, on the ledge, right in front of him. He cannot escape. I tank direct rocket because I'm stacked enough thanks to picking up the mega and all. And then I get yet another frag. This is again something that you could use anytime, really, throughout the match. It wasn't anything big here at this point in this match, but in general, you can make this move and surprise your opponent, landing in his face, you know, not letting him get away, get a free frag for you, stuff like that. You know, it's really beneficial to do all of these things. Like I explained couple, you know, throughout this matchup, not just this map, but like throughout this whole matchup, throughout these 3 maps, I have done a few, you know, things here and there that is like little tips and tricks and neat things that you can implement into your game to gain advantage over your opponent. You know, it's probably something you're gonna have to practice and make sure that you can pull off during a live match. But if you do it, it can get you an advantage, and it's very beneficial to, you know, keep doing these little things and also know when to do them, how to do them, be ready to do them, you know. But for that you obviously need to practice it and have the experience and all. But if you are experienced enough and you are aware of these little moves and possibilities and you have practiced them and you are ready to pull them off, then you can obviously get a lot of advantage out of these. So I highly recommend them. Not just because I do them and I think they are cool, but you can see it works. You know, this was a QPL match and it worked. It gained me the advantage multiple times throughout this match. And that's why I won basically, because other than that it was a close match up until then, before I started doing these traps, you know. So what's up? Not visible yet. It's a live dog. It looks like a plushie, but it's a live dog. She has a little bit of an issue with her ear. It's a little bit inflated. I'll have to get her to the vet tomorrow. Oh, little doggy. Yeah. Dog is attacking. All right. Yeah. So Litty was just showing me. We've been to the vet the other day because we've noticed that this doggy had some issues with her ear. But at the time the vet looked at it, it was okay again. But now it's bad again. We're gonna have to have it looked at. Wanna make sure that she's okay. Alright, anyway, so yeah, back to what I was saying. Just, you know, try to play in a way that you get as much advantage out of situation as you can, and try to handicap your opponent as much as possible, you know. Gaining advantages for yourself can mean like sometimes slow down, listen out for sound cues, know what your opponent is doing, where he's going, when he's taking items. Try to think about how to cut him off or deal some unreturned damage to him, how to set up traps for him to run into, stuff like that. You know, just, you know, anything that can get you some kind of an advantage, some kind of a way to surprise your opponent of not being able to react in time before you do something that is gonna turn things in your favor. You know, anything really, whether it's movement, positioning, setting up traps, surprise attacks, using ability in an unexpected way, whatever, you know. And then handicapping your opponent, for example, preventing him from taking health bubbles or small armor, or denying weapons from him, or a certain area of the map, you just hold down the angle, not letting him go there, to have him like in a position where you don't want him to be in. You know, just do anything you can to get yourself the advantage and handicap your opponent, and eventually it will pay out and you'll have your chance to get the frag and have the lead. And if you do things right, eventually the timer is gonna reach, you know, 10 minutes or whatever, and then you're gonna have the lead and win the match. But I highly recommend examining these things, like you know, all these things that I have explained throughout this match, and learning from them and trying to pull them off your off them out, pull them off. I think pull them off yourself during a match of yours, and just, you know, see if it works. Anyway, let's finish it. There's just 1 minute left of this matchup, and then I'll try to catch up with the chat.
Still a good match. I think that was week 1 if you want to go back and check that one out. There's another frag. In the last few minutes, RAISY's just going to blow this one wide open 40.
I remember this. I got pummeled. Again, I just want to point out, I don't think I should have been pummeled, but just look at my fucking shotgun, dude. Just look at the fucking shotgun. How the hell can I not kill him there? Look at my shotgun. Let's see in slow-mo. I like to see it slow-mo, actually. So here he is, close range. He has nothing to work with. I am in point blank range with the shotgun, and I have at least 2 shots on him, maybe even 3. I don't remember exactly. We'll see. Let's see how much damage I can do a shot. 0. 25. We're getting there. Only like 10 more of these 25s and he's dead. And then third one. That was actually a big chunk of damage. I'm not sure how much exactly. 125. Okay, the third one was a point blank one. I'm very good with the shotgun, guys. Don't worry about it. So anyway, I got pummeled.
dramiS is like, you won, but I can still gauntlet.
Oh man, wow. I don't know what to say about that.
I love it.
It's like even playing field now.
Yeah. Restart the map after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was gonna ask you, you know, what do you think really was the decider in terms of if you were gonna put RAISY and dramiS? Like, what were the things you saw from RAISY that you think gave him this decisive 3-0 victory?
I mean, I don't want to just chalk it up to something as simple as like, well, dramiS just didn't hit his shots, but the way he plays and positions around the rail, that literally is sometimes what it comes down to. If he's landing the damage, it'll look great, and if he doesn't, it kind of shows up like today. So, in my opinion, it was a little bit of that, where we've seen dramiS on hot streaks, where he's hitting insane rails popping off, and you're like, wow, this is crazy. Why is he doing this? And it's
Alright, so that was fun to watch back. Anyway, let me read back on the chat. I'm a little bit behind on it, so let's see. Is there anything I should answer or talk about? Yeah, my ping was about, I think 90-ish, 90 to 100, something like that, I think, when I was on NA server. But yeah, it's not as big of a ping as, well, let's say if I play against Nosfa and we both have to be on like 150 ping or whatever. But still, you could see some bullshit happening throughout the match, you know, him taking that heavy from me going through his body, stuff like that, you know. Even on low ping it can happen, and it does happen every now and then. And especially if you are on, you know, higher ping, like about 100, very often, you know, stuff like that happens that normally would not really happen on low ping. And I consider 80 to 90 to 100 a high ping, you know. Anything above 50 is already kind of uncomfortable to play on, especially if it's a competitive match, you know. If there's money on the line, you don't want to have higher ping than 50. Still trying to catch up on the chat, sorry, just reading. 1 sec. Did I care that I lost against him last year? Extra motivation? Honestly, I didn't even remember. It's been so long. I can't even remember my matchup against Celts last Estadi, yet alone like a year ago against dramiS in QPL. How will I face an extremely aggressive aimer opponent? The game seems like it favors the aggressive playstyle. Struggle a lot with those kind of players. Well, I guess just have a look at how people try to approach playing against someone like Tox or Sirius, you know. For example, if you know that you're gonna be out-aimed, don't try to take an aim fight. Don't take an LG versus LG fight unless you are massively outstacking him. Instead, try to go for better positioning, unreturned damage, like for example spamming rockets and tri-bolt and pre-fire rails around the corner, stuff like that. Also, time the items, be the one in control. I know it's hard to do, especially if you're getting hit a shit ton and there's just, you can't really retaliate enough because your aim is not as good. But I mean, the only way to beat someone who has better aim is to just work around it, and the way you can do that is by having control and then being in better positions and then doing unreturned chip damage, you know. So basically just slow down your game a little bit, listen out for sound cues, and then come up with a plan on how to counter whatever he's doing based on what you can hear with the sound cues. Try to be in control, time the items, go for the stack, and only take fights that are massively favoring you. Whether it's stack related or position related or both. I mean, yeah, it's always gonna be difficult to play against someone who doesn't know how to let go of the forward button. Especially if that someone is playing a fast character like Anarchy or Sorlag or Slash or Strog, Scale, you know, or Athena, you know. So yeah, it's not gonna be easy, but the best thing you can do is what I explained earlier. Right, well, anyway, I think I'm gonna call it a day for now. I didn't plan for this VOD review to take over 3 hours, honestly. I guess I just talked the shit ton. But I feel like, you know, I kind of wanted to explain everything very detailed, because what's the point of doing a VOD review with your viewers? I could just watch back the VOD by myself, not stream it, not talk about it, and just analyze it for myself. I wouldn't have to like watch it back and stop it and talk about it and blah blah blah. I could do that, yeah, but I wanted to stream it and I wanted to discuss it with you guys. I wanted to talk about things. I wanted to explain why I played the way I played and what did I do and why it worked and how it worked and what it meant and blah blah blah. So for that, yeah, I had to talk. And when I do talk about things, I really like to explain everything thoroughly from the very beginning to the very end, with every little detail in between. I don't want to do like a half-assed job, you know. So yeah, apparently it took me 3 hours to analyze this VOD review of a single matchup of QPL, which consists of 3 maps. But I feel like it was fun to do, you know. I feel like I achieved my goal of sharing all these insights of what's going on between, you know, my decisions, like what my thought process is, and you got to hear also the commentators talk about it a little bit when I was making it a little bit louder. Like he explained exactly to the viewers what was going through my head as I was playing, and he was exactly spot on with what he said. 40 Lions, I mean. So yeah, first of all, kudos to him, because obviously that means that he has a great understanding of the game, and he's also pointing it out to the viewers because he's aware that it is something worthy to talk about. Like, it's not just I got a frag and that's it. it was something that made the frag happen. There was something that made the frag happen, and then he talks about what it was and why it worked and blah blah blah. So, you know, it's nice to see that, you know, it gets recognized. It gets recognized that I actually had a plan behind what I did. You know. Right. I'm gonna call it a day, guys. It is 4:20 for me in the morning. But yeah, I had good time, and so I will see you guys soonish. Actually, I will play a study later tonight, I think, unless I'm gonna be at the vet with the dog. So I will stream my POV as usual, participating in a study tournament. Alright, so if I don't have anything come up, like I said with the dog, for example, having to go to the vet or whatever, I will stream it, and so I will see you tomorrow at when the study will start. If not, you guys will be able to watch my match in the QPL on Saturday. My match will be the last one against Zenaku, which I will not stream from my POV, but you could watch me, you know, play the match itself from the official stream. Anyway, I'm gonna head off, so see you guys, have a good night or whatever it is at your time zone. I'm off. Bye-bye.